was in for a surprise when she found 70,000 dum-dum suckers on her doorstep.
That is a surprise.
That her young son had ordered in secret.
Funny, when you said a lot of dum-dums in this picture, Tyler had not put the picture up yet. It was just us sitting here, which was both accurate.
100%.
This looks like boxes of diapers.
It really does. So he went on Amazon and just kept going?
Holly LaFavors from Lexington shared on Facebook that her son Liam, who is in second grade, ordered 30 cases of Dum Dum suckers from Amazon while he was playing on her phone this weekend. Now, the cases, each with 2,340 suckers inside, retail for $130 each. Final cost came to over $4,200.
Yeah.
LaFavors says Amazon's only let her return 8 of the 30 boxes, but she was left with the other 22. She took to Facebook to ask other locals to buy the boxes from her so she wasn't stuck with tens of thousands of suckers. LaFavors says all of the boxes have been sold.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
Yeah, I would
very
buy a
nice.
box. Wouldn't you guys buy a box?
I'd buy one of the boxes, yeah.
I don't know.
I get a lot of...
I'd like to have them up here.
The problem is I buy a bag of them for my, where I'm watching football. And I always end up with the flavors I don't like left in the bucket. So what do you do with those? I just have to dump them in the trash.
Yeah, give them out Halloween.
But what flavors don't you like? Like the Tootsie Pop, I think, is great, but the chocolate Tootsie Pop is awful.
Well, they've got like a root beer, and I like root beer, but I don't like the root beer sucker. I'll still eat the butterscotch sucker. I don't mind that. It's
Butterscotch
like
isn't bad.
Yeah.
That's a dying candy, right? The butterscotch. Do you ever see those anymore?
I don't.
Since my grandmother passed.
No, I think Werther's took over the butterscotch empire.
Yep.
They beat them in the war.
LT, get us some dum-dums up here, man.
The blue raspberry.
I will get us some dum-dums.
The blue raspberry I don't hate, but it leaves your mouth blue. And if I got to go out in public,
is that the one that they feature on there? Is that the blue raspberry?
Yeah, right there on that box on the right. Yeah, that's what that is.
So Clay Travis could have come in handy on this one. A man visiting a zoo was attacked by a crocodile after he climbed into the animal's enclosure to pose for photos.
Not going to.
What a dumbass!
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw Clay under the bus here. Clay was talking about an alligator.
Yeah, big difference.
Which is not aggressive and doesn't have the jaw strength of a crocodile. Who, by the way, this guy just found out you can't hold a croc's mouth shut like you can an alligator.
Guess jersey, is that a LeBron Cavs jersey? Maybe.
It could be. And much like LeBron to the Cavs, this guy going to be dead at some point.
This guy's got a problem. Now, the man identified as Manila Bulletin, 29-year-old, climbed over the chain-link fence with a cell phone in hand at the Cabug Island Mangrove in Wetlands Park in the Philippines.
My headline for this story would have been Thrilla for Vanilla. Thrilla for Manila.
Hey, do we have video?
Well, how does it end?
Well, it's got to get bloody here in a second.
I want to see the video. Now, in the video obtained by Viral Press, onlookers could be heard screaming at the man and the crocodile after it bit him on the arm and held on tight.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Though the man could be seen sitting still as he awaited help, the crocodile dragged him through the shallow water, rolled over, twisting his arm even further as he screamed in pain. Police officers told local media that the man had climbed into the enclosure because he thought the crocodile was a fake.
No, he didn't.
No, I mean, they're videotaping this, so he's now there's one golf course, our friends at the Meadows, that have a couple of floating gators that are fake.
Oh, yeah.
Out there.
It's pretty obvious, though.
But it still freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a gator head, and it's just to keep away certain...
Yeah, but it's floating around out there, and I'm thinking to myself, every time I look at it, I'm like, God, if that thing was real, how would I be playing golf?
So this crocodile's got a name, female Lele. Video footage shows Lele rolling the man multiple times in what scientists call the old death row.
That's right.
Death roll.
Manila gets Lele. That's our headlines. Working on college football season.
Now, according to the Viral Press, per the Daily Mail, zookeeper in charge of Lele had attempted to stop the man from climbing the fence beforehand, eventually entered the enclosure himself to rescue the 29-year-old. I think I let him die.
Yeah, there's no rescuing.
Yeah.
You're the moron that did this.
On the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Jim Dunaway. Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Some interesting college football numbers we'll get to when it comes to dollars and cents. That makes a lot of sense when it comes to the Big Ten and the SEC. Joel Klatt's top 25, Big Ten bias or SEC bias? We'll check in on Klatt's way too early top 25. But we wake up to a local guy in our viewing. If you're not from where we are in Birmingham, Alabama, where we're based, you don't know this probably, but George Pickens is a local guy. He's a Hoover guy. And he went to Georgia to play, but he grew up right here, just down the block from where our studios are. And we wake up to him going to the Dallas Cowboys. And throughout the morning, draft compensation's been leaking out, a third and a fifth round pick over the next 2 years. George Pickens to the Cowboys opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Your thoughts initially to this?
Well, I think the knock on George Pickens has never been the talent. It's been more about between the ears. And look, let's face it. I mean, he would have been a major weapon for Kirby. He never could get on the field. He was in the doghouse the entire time. And, you see flashes of greatness in his first 3 years in the league. I think he can be an incredible number 2 option to CeeDee Lamb. But this has got to tell you something about Pittsburgh. I brought them up in a half-joking fashion yesterday, talking about, who's going to get the top pick in the draft because Mike Tomlin's never had a sub-500 record. And Brown was like, there's no way the Steelers are going to be that bad. And we were talking about Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Well, you've got DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, and that's it. Like, you don't have any weapons at all on that offense. You got rid of Najee Harris in the offseason. I just don't think this is going to be a very good Steelers offense now.
Again, now we have talked about Aaron Rodgers waiting for a reason. If you're Aaron Rodgers, does this make you more or less likely to do this?
With the chance of bumping into somebody from the Pickens family in the local Publix.
I wouldn't know if it did.
I'm going to say it doesn't really move the needle for me.
If you're Aaron Rodgers.
For either fan base. I'm not excited if I wake up. I'm more excited.
Oh, wow.
I'm more excited today if I wake up and you have signed Amari Cooper, who is a free agent since March, who still produces and shows up every game back with the Cowboys, which was being discussed. And by the way, he may still end up being a third option for the Cowboys. They may go out and still get Amari Cooper. I know Jerry Jones likes him a lot. The consistency of George Pickens, I've never liked his production at Georgia or with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Georgia just couldn't get on the field. I mean, at least at Pittsburgh, he's been playing. Like, you'll say the temper tantrums, and you'll see him throw a helmet and yell at a coach and things like that, and that's what you got to deal with. And that's one of the reasons that you're giving him ups for so little. But the way I evaluate these trades as being a Rams fan and being in the NFC, I don't want him coming over to the Cowboys. Cowboys offense now, you've got 2 immediate starters within the last week, and Tyler Booker and now George Pickens. And for him to compliment CeeDee Lamb, and let's not forget, Pickens averaged right at 1,000 yards receiving per year in his first 3 years. He did it with terrible quarterbacks. Now he's got Dak Prescott. I think this is, again, I don't think it's going to get like the Cowboys over the hump where they're going to win a championship. But I think it's a big-time move for their offense.
Oftentimes, number 2 receivers do that, though. They get you over the hump to win because, A, it gives you that option that's never double-teamed, or B, it loosens up your big star to not be double-teamed all the time. I mean, that number 2 guy is often the one that, John Taylor opposite of Jerry Rice, the 2 receivers that had Manning and the Colts so were good.
Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, that's just – having that second guy makes a difference. And if you think Pickens is that good, then that could get you over the hump.
Do you trust our guy Dan Orlovsky's evaluation?
I love Dan Orlovsky.
On ESPN today.
I have not listened to one of the – it's been on every screen, no audio all morning long.
Yeah, we got Rappaport on one screen. We got Chris Russo, Mad Dog, talking about it on one screen. Orlovsky on one of those screens just a moment ago said – on the Steelers, it's the least appealing offense in the NFL right now. It's the least scary offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to win games 13-10.
Well, they were trying that last year.
If Mason Rudolph is, in fact, your starting quarterback, with the lack of weapons, that offense is going to be awful.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, CeeDee Lamb really was by himself, and this is a guy that was averaging right at 110 grabs and 1,300 yards per season over the last 3 years and about 10 touchdowns per year over those 3 years. And now you get somebody in there that compliments you. Again, he's got to get this straight.
That's right. If you get the good George Pickens, this is an excellent day for the Cowboys.
Because I did think it was, we all criticized the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, but Schottenheimer, since he's gotten in there, has been like, it's going to be all about culture here.
Yeah.
And now you bring in a George Pickens. So
that's interesting, right?
How good can the culture be?
But do you when you guys say what you're saying here, I never trust when you have to say if you get the good.
Oh, I agree.
Anything after that.
It's scary.
And I never understand why you want those people on your team. If you're, there's those people in every walk of life. If you get the good, blah blah blah.
I think.
Well, why do you want those people that aren't going to show up every day?
I think every organization thinks that they can get the good, and so this is going to be contradictory, but Mike Tomlin was able to make it work, but there's a reason they got rid of George Pickens today for not a lot.
Yeah, but if George Pickens or any player was a pain in the butt in the clubhouse or at practice, and he showed up and was great in the games every time, and he was there for 16, 17 games.
Wow.
See, I'm hard to work with up here. 21 hours a day.
Right.
But for 3 hours a day, I bring it right here every day. You guys are angels to put up with me for 21 hours. But for these 3 hours, I'm here every day, and I'm giving you I'm giving you CeeDee Lamb effort here for 3 hours. The other 21 hours, I'm more George Pickens sometimes. I'm just saying, I don't know why you would want somebody who can't do it 17 weeks on a Sunday and bring you that effort and attitude.
And I get effort, right? But you can't look at production out of him, and it can't be all his fault.
It's body language. It's
okay,
the
body
throwing
language,
of the helmets,
and I get all of that. What Brian Schottenheimer is probably thinking here today is, who's the best quarterback he's ever caught passes from in the NFL?
I guess Russell Wilson.
Dak Prescott's better than Russell Wilson right now. And that's what Brian Schottenheimer and Jerry Jones are thinking.
Close.
Is all those things you're talking about, Jim, all those things you're talking about are concerns, but you know what will make them better? Him getting the football. That's really the only reason George acts this way is George can't get the football.
Do you think Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Brian Schottenheimer got on the phone with Kirby Smart? Because I do find
what do you think Kirby would have said?
Well, I don't know, but here's the thing. He could not get on the field because he was in the doghouse all the time. And Kirby
was injured, too. He had some injuries.
He did.
But Kirby's got literally the cast of Fast and Furious that plays week in, week out, and it's not that big of a deal. So if you're able to skate around that and you're as talented as George Pickens, I mean, there was time missed. There were some injuries.
Yeah.
But I remember he wasn't on the field forever, and then he shows up for the LSU SEC championship game where they got smoked, but he made big plays in that game. I mean, he's a massive talent, but you just got to be able to wrangle him in.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Jim. Don't misunderstand. I would prefer, given the choice of great talent, no issues, great talent, numerous issues, I'm always going to take great talent, no issues every single time, but that's not always a choice. Those guys aren't often on the market. This guy's on a market at a reduced rate. You just talked about how little they're giving up to get him.
Yeah, 3rd round pick next year, 5th round pick in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, this is the shirt you don't know if it's going to fit, Jim, but it's 75% off. Like, if it doesn't fit, what have I really lost?
I ironically bought a 75% off shirt yesterday
Does it fit?
at the PGA at a store that has PGA gear. Yeah. And
does it fit?
And when I bought it, I was like, God, and the reason this is on the sales rack is because it's 3 different colors.
Right.
And then as I was playing golf in it yesterday, I was like, this shirt, I looked at myself a couple of times in my phone. I was like, this shirt really is popping. It's like I'm coaching. It's 2 lane colors.
Do you
it's
like
2
when
colors.
your imaginary friend?
It's like a sea green and a blue, a light blue and a dark blue a little bit. It's like 3 colors. At first, I was like, well, no wonder it's 75% off.
Yeah.
But as I got out in the sun and started playing a little bit, I was like, okay, I may be coaching on the sidelines at Tulane, but I
Well,
like
I'm popping
shirt.
if I am.
I was hitting the ball good, though.
Do you
there
see
you go.
your imaginary friend when you talk to him?
Oh, I do.
Or is it just in your head?
I do.
So
I always have.
You bought it and put it right on and went to the golf course. Like, you tore the tags.
Oh, yeah, because I wore
Did you
shirt.
try it on?
No. I mean, I know where I am right now.
No.
I mean, I was 173.8 yesterday. I knew that sliding into the
Heck
large
yeah.
category.
That's right.
73.8.
Yeah. 173.6 this morning.
Look at you, down 0.2 of a pound.
Yeah.
It's working. Well, good. I'm glad you got a good shirt, but you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's the analogy,
Yeah,
right?
well, and
I mean,
another analogy-
would you have bought that shirt at full price? No.
No.
Another analogy, like I wouldn't want Pickens on my team. Like, I don't know about you guys with Dolphins, Bucks, Rams. I wouldn't want him.
I've already got one malcontent receiver that's really good. I
But
don't
it's
need another
almost
one.
like I'm sure a lot of people would think Kim Kardashian's an incredible catch. I wouldn't want to deal with her.
No, I mean,
Me either. And her hips are out of whack.
childbirthing.
Are you not a BBL guy?
I don't know what that means.
The Brazilian butt lift?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't. I mean, I think you can get too skinny and then too hippie.
Oh yeah, when you can put a bottle of Dasani on somebody's ass.
Yeah. I mean, it becomes too much. I'm okay with extremes. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it just doesn't look human.
Normal?
Yeah, natural. So that's just my opinion. Different strokes for different folks.
But one thing, look, a lot of people, some people love Clay, some people hate Clay. The one thing I think whether you love or hate Clay, he said it numerous times on the show, and you have to agree with it because it's the undeniable truth, is in almost any profession, if your talent and abilities outweigh your headache, you're always going to have a spot.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're there with George Pickens. The Cowboys seem to think
How
we
did
are.
you bring Clay into that? I just said that a few minutes ago.
Well,
Everyone
'cause
says that.
Clay was the first one to say
Ever
it.
say that in the history of the world?
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
He was. Aristotle thought about it, but Clay said it.
Mark it down. 9/11 on a random Wednesday. Brown kissing up to Clay
Okay.
here.
All right, so as Jim said earlier,
Well, guarantee you Clay ain't listening.
as Jim said earlier, I mean, Clay's been saying that for years, and he's right. As long as your talent level outweighs your level of headache, you're always going to have a spot. And it's never more true than it is in professional sports. There are tons of headaches in professional sports. But as long as their level of talent outweighs it, you're always going to have a spot.
Yeah.
And the Steelers clearly have given up on that.
And Jerry Jones is not one of those guys afraid to roll the dice. If the the Cowboys start out 3-6 and Pickens is
throwing helmets?
then this is going to be a massive story.
But what have you lost if you cut him, Lance?
Yeah,
I
not a
mean,
lot.
he's due a contract next year. So if you want to keep him, you're going to have to pay money to keep him. But if you cut him, you've lost a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick. Not that big a deal.
I respect the heck out of Mike Tomlin, and if you can't get along with Mike Tomlin,
Well, he did for 3 years. I think when they gave $30 million a year to DK Metcalf, that was kind of, we're not going to be able to pay George Pickens.
yeah. Well, I think they brought in DK Metcalf so they could get rid of George Pickens.
Supposedly one of the breaking points was him reportedly being late for the Christmas Day game. And by late now, you're talking the reports were an hour and a half, hour, 25 minutes before kick.
But how many times do you hear anybody being late for a game in the NFL?
Very rarely.
In the history of my covering sports of over 34 years, there's been two. One guy not from the United States who's lost on the interstates in Atlanta.
That was Pascual Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And George Pickens. That's two.
Right. There was a story about somebody that showed up.
O.J. Simpson was being chased for murder, and he still got into a car and started moving in some direction.
Now, by late for a game, an hour and a half before kick, I mean,
The
he didn't miss
Pascual Perez,
kickoff.
and I remember that was the early 80s. Like
I-285.
back before GPS and iPhones and all that kind of stuff. I'm surprised that didn't happen more.
So, all right.
Especially when you get an international player
Yeah.
that's got a language barrier.
For the youngs that don't remember the story, or have never heard the story, Pascual Perez was a Braves reliever. He was a relief pitcher. Or was he a starter?
He was starter.
He was a starter.
He was supposed to start that day.
Yeah, it was going to start that day. Did the Braves acquire him in a trade, or he was
I always
lightly
remember
on it?
him being a Brave.
So he shows up at Hartsfield, gets his car, and is headed to the stadium, and he gets up on I-285, and if you're familiar with that, it only circles Atlanta, never goes into Atlanta. So Pascual just drove around for a while on I-285, He kept following the sign that said Atlanta, but he would never exit to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's why he got the, didn't they call him like
I-285.
Yeah.
That was his nickname, was I-285.
The show today being brought to you by our friends at the Regions Tradition. We're out there 1 week from today for our annual Coca-Cola Conversations.
And we are, and you can see all of that on demand on all of our channels. We'll also be live for the show from out there at the Walk-Ons tent on number 10. The Legends of Golf return to Birmingham for the Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. It is at Greystone, May 14 through 18. See some of golf's greatest names like Ernie Els, John Daly, Stuart Sink, and many others compete for one of golf's most prestigious titles. 4 days of thrilling shots, unforgettable moments, and world-class golf, all in support of local charities. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now, regionstradition.com, regionstradition.com.
Hey, have you booked any of our Coca-Cola Conversations yet? If not,
They book them for us.
If not, I think I've already got us. I got us Hugh Freeze yesterday. He's the coach at Auburn.
I've heard of him.
I was in a conversation yesterday, and I said we'd love Hugh to swing by our Coca-Cola Conversation if he's going to be out there.
Normally,
they normally just
Coca-Cola and the Regions Tradition people take care of that for us.
Yeah, we have a conversation with Coca-Cola today. So.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So Coach Freeze is
Coach
already.
Freeze is booked.
Yeah, I'll let them know that you've already taken care of it. They don't have to do that.
No. Let them take care of it.
Okay.
All
right.
They'll put us in line.
How's Hugh doing?
I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing up in every ranking.
Yeah. Hot seat. Top 25. He's in all of them, right?
Before we get to our latest Way Too Earlys, Joel Klatt this time, our friends at Way to Wellness bringing your opportunity to jump on a weight loss right now. Way to Wellness. Their website's easy. Just remember this, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That website name tells you one thing you need to know about Way to Wellness is that every plan is designed specifically for you, no cookie cutter plan. So you go to the website at planforme.com. That gives you not only just the location, but it tells you more about Leslie, her board certified team, and what they offer you. No cookie cutter plan. There's also no contract, no sign up fee, and your first consultation's free. Injection therapy, which has been very popular over the last 2 years, meal replacements, which we've been doing for a long, long time, just a healthy eating plan and some blood work and some monitoring and different ways to help you lose some weight. They have a variety of different opportunities for you there. That's just three of a menu full of items that you can get at Way to Wellness to jumpstart your weight loss. It works. I've done it. Friends are doing it. And I'll tell you, it is always packed with happy people who are getting in better shape. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Joel Klatt, before you show us, Forrester, has his Way Too Early Top 25 out. We did Brandon Marcello's yesterday. You can see it at Next Round Live. Taylor sent that out. Brandon and I were DMing last night talking about his Top 25 and how we had a fun segment off of it. And Brandon gets excited when we have good segments off of his content.
I do too.
Yeah. He started off with hell yeah. And then
He had no idea.
and then we went on and on. I would tell you, Klatt he's the voice of the Big Ten, in my opinion, correct?
I don't know about that.
He's the national voice for Fox. Their Big Ten. I mean,
I can't think of anybody. When you say, give me media face of the Big Ten, nobody else comes to mind. So, yes.
The perception is Fox is Big Ten, ESPN, ABC is SEC.
Yeah, that is the perception.
Fair. It's going to be interesting once Herb Street does retire. Like, does Klatt become the face of college football, and does it become a little bit different where there's...
I keep waiting for a bidding war for Joel Klatt. I think Joel Klatt's going to double his contract somewhere in the near future.
Clip
that and send that to him, by the way. I really do. I think Klatt, when Herb Street decides to shut it down...
Would not surprise me at all. He's going to be the hottest commodity out there.
Especially if Herb Street decides just to do the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Then that opens up the college game. I think that is a big opportunity for Klatt to be on the market. Like our buddy Dan Wetzel, who left and went to ESPN just recently.
Yeah.
He's now at ESPN.
Well, and Reese. I mean, Fox was apparently pursuing Reese.
Right. Works both ways.
Yeah, Reese cashed in with a big deal at ESPN.
So Klatt perceived Big Ten, but as you look at his Way Too Early Top 25, now he's Big Ten heavy at the top. I think everybody will be, but he's got not one, not two, not five, but 10 SEC teams in his top 25.
How about that?
10 of them.
Yeah.
10 of the top 25. I don't know the percentages on that, but that's close to 50% of the top 25 is the SEC.
Go 42.
Penn State is number 1 Big Ten sexy offseason pick.
Boy. So, I mean, James Franklin goes from not beating any big names to beating all of them.
I was going to say, did they hire a new coach?
Sexy offseason pick to have Penn State number 1. Texas is number 2 SEC.
That's sexy, too.
Ohio State, another Big Ten. Oregon, another Big Ten. So there's your top 4, 3 Big Ten. So you said, oh, Klatt, he's playing up to the bosses, right? Mm-hmm. Well, here comes Clemson, Notre Dame, and then buckle up SEC time. LSU, Georgia, Alabama, and then the pressure's on Bielema at 10 at Illinois. There's South Carolina, South Kakalaki, and they're at number 11. Michigan, Florida at 13. Have you noticed in these way too early how high
people
Florida
love DJ
is?
Ladwell. You get a good returning quarterback and people go crazy.
You know what they're not looking at?
The schedule.
The schedule.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you don't look at the schedule. Like, when we do our 40 and 40 starting up, it's one of the things that I'll look at with every team that I put in there.
Anytime we bring a team up, I go to their schedule. It's the most important factor that there is.
BYU, sexy offseason pick. In fact, Klatt listens to the show apparently, nobody's been trumpeting BYU this offseason more than this guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of BYU. But again, we're talking about the most unpredictable conference on the face of the planet.
Speaking of which, right after BYU, Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, all same conference.
Do you think it was one of those? It was Klatt's like, oh, damn, I got to put Big 12. And then he starts getting on
all
the
right,
roll.
who do I have winning the Big 12? Well, one of 4 teams. Let's just rank them right there together.
Miami just backloaded a lot of talent in the portal.
Well, that's a disappointing finish for Miami, though, based on some of the things people are talking about.
Texas A&M, man, I don't know. I don't know about Texas A&M at 19. There's Ole Miss, disappointing 20. Indiana, man, if you're still a top 25 team after last year at Indiana, hats off to Coach Sig.
I would agree. Yeah.
I hate to say this. Curtis Rourke, really good with all that experience. Mendoza's a better quarterback.
Yeah, just skill set.
Just skill set, yeah.
I'm just wondering about the Jimmies and the Joes.
Yeah, I don't know if Indiana can be that good. And the Illinois thing is fascinating because last year nobody had Indiana in the top 25. Nobody.
Yeah, I think they have more returning starters than anybody.
They do. But to have them just assuming, and look, I know they won 9 games last year, but to have them, most people have them in the top 10. Everybody's got them in the top 15.
Yeah, I have them right around the playoff line. Auburn 22, as my Hugh Freeze getting us into this comment is, there's pressure on Hugh. We talked yesterday.
Zeroed out.
It's a top 15 roster talent-wise, and he's in just about everybody's top 25, and that schedule isn't easy. Iowa, Baylor, Oklahoma rounding it out.
Baylor at 24.
Who do they play?
They open up with Auburn.
Top 25
and I'm
matchup
glad
for
that
Klatt.
Klatt's got him in there because I think Baylor with Sawyer Robertson is going to be really good this year.
So that's Klatt's top 25. A lot of SEC, Big Ten heavy at the top. I think Big Ten has 9 teams in there, so it's not like he's, trying to replace Gary Danielson on the SEC. Or it's not even Gary anymore. He's trying to jump on the SEC game of the week. But it's Klatt's very fair. I make that point. I always enjoy when he joins us.
Yeah, pointing out something that Landmine Believer points out is the number of new starting quarterbacks in that top 10. You don't see this often. Texas, new starting quarterback. Ohio State, new starting quarterback. Oregon, new starting quarterback. Notre Dame has a new starter.
Yes.
Georgia has a new starter. Alabama has a new starter.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the new starters.
Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, that used to almost disqualify you from a top 10.
You think it's tough to rank quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, more on that later. But I mean, that used to, Dunaway, that used to be like, well, I don't have him in the top 10 because they got a new quarterback. Well, crap, most of the top 10 right now is a new quarterback. Yep. For just about anybody, not just Klatt.
Okay, one more thing to get to in this opening segment. Later in the show, Kalen DeBoer on a variety of different things, including not losing anybody in the spring portal and quarterback Ty Simpson. That coming up a little bit later on in the show. Also, LT in our next segment ranked the SEC quarterbacks 1 to 16. And you've seen it already on our social media platform. If you have not, you should follow us at Next Round Live, on everything from Twitter to TikTok to Facebook to the YouTube channel and everywhere in between. And don't forget to get the audio podcast on your Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, and do us a favor, set your automatic downloads for the podcast. That helps us just about, other than watching us and liking and commenting and thumbs up during the show live, the second most thing that helps us is setting your automatic downloads there on the audio platforms, and we appreciate that so much. One more big thing to get to in this opening segment. right after Brownie tells us about our friends at Bojangles.
Jimmy D, you love you some Bojangles lunch, and right now, coming up, at lunch today, you can go ahead and do it with those beautiful Bojangles tenders. And from sweet to heat, they've got 7 sauces that will add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces of those hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, a house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic Bo sauce, they are all ready for you. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
The NBA playoffs, and I am on the scale of NBA fandom, I probably fall in 5 out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10.
And your team just had the biggest win of your fandom's history.
Yeah, 5 out of 10.
They did.
Yeah.
I don't know what the biggest win
Of his fandom history.
Yes.
And the whole
his
time,
fandom.
the whole time
okay.
he's been a Knicks fan, that's the Knicks' biggest win.
You're right,
By a long shot.
And they play again tonight in Boston. By the way, I don't care how much money you bet on the reg. Bet
here you go,
all
Lance.
your money. I don't care what the
Everything.
point spread is. Bet it all on Boston tonight.
You got to play on that game today?
Boston,
I do.
Boston, they can't make the point spread 20.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Minus 20 is not enough.
It is 10.5. And the
10.5.
interesting, I don't know if you guys saw that, the third quarter shot chart for the Celtics
That
the
was
other night.
amazing.
20 shots. How many do you think were inside of the arc?
1.
It was
It
one.
was at the rim,
Yeah,
but
and,
I mean,
they made that one.
yes, they did.
Yeah.
They
And
made,
they-
anytime they went to the rim, they made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other ones, they missed a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, 15 to 60 behind the arc.
And they will not miss that many tonight, and 10.5 isn't enough. It'll be a 20-plus point win tonight from the Celtics. In fact, at some point in the third period, they will shut down the Knicks starters, play with backups the rest of
Save
the
it for
way.
Madison Square Garden,
Yeah,
boys.
they'll be happy to get out of there 1-1. You can lock that one up. So Knicks, Boston tonight, Denver, Oklahoma City. But we've had 4 20-point comebacks for wins, and it feels like they've all been this week, but 4 20-point comebacks for wins. That's an NBA record in one playoff cycle. We've already had it. We're only in the second round. It happened again last night when the Pacers erased a 20-point deficit. But more impressively, they were down 7 with 48 seconds left. Never walk out of an NBA game.
Did you
No.
see? Did you see the numbers on this?
The percentage of winning?
What in the percentage of winning it was, and I don't know the exact, but in 1,468.
1,640.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah, you are. You had all the numbers.
Yeah.
Just not a range.
Teams
It was like a
that
Price is
were
Right
trailing by 7 or more in the final minute had won 3 of those games,
Wow.
and 2 by the Pacers since 1998, including last night. I was blown away.
2 in this playoffs.
Well, I'm watching. I've got the Cavs -9. Now, I had the Pacers plus 8.5 in game 1, but I thought there was going to be a big bounce back for the Cavs, and they dominated the entire game. And even when they were up 7 with a minute to go, I was like, they're going to foul, and I think we're going to be okay here. And 2 offensive rebounds on free throws. And I don't know what that percentage is. I would say maybe 10% you get an offensive rebound on a free throw.
It's got to be less than that in the NBA.
It might be, but you had a putback at the rim, and then Halliburton to get his own rebound off the tip, to be able to go out, extend the play a little bit, run the clock down, and to make that shot. That rip, everybody says postseason doesn't begin in the NBA until a road team wins it. Well, when a road team goes up 2-0, home team's got a problem.
Shut it down. By the way, in the second round now, the road team is 5-0. Never has happened.
That's crazy.
First time in NBA
I
history.
got a buddy of mine is a handicapper, and he sent me NBA is drunk.
Yep. Well, no, it's the first time in NBA history that in the second round, first of all, that the lower seeded or the higher seeded team, the worst seeded team, has won. All 4 of them won their game 1s. First time in the history of the NBA in the second round that's happened, and they're off to a 5-0 start because the Pacers have won 2. So it's crazy. But to your point, since 1998. It was 1 and 1,638 in the final minute of 7 points or down that a team had won, come back to win it.
Well, think about this.
And the Pacers have done it twice in this playoffs.
Yeah.
You're a
That's insane.
postseason team. You're at home winning this game by 7. There's no way that you're going to lose this game. Like, it's still baffling how and that cost them the series.
Yep.
Like, I mean, the Pacers have kind of owned them the entire season. A lot of people believed it would be different with this Cavs team in this postseason, but that series is over.
But if Jokic goes for 40, 20, and 6 again tonight, 40-plus, 20-plus, and 5-plus assists again tonight, and Denver goes up 2-0 on OKC, then what everyone has said about OKC and Cleveland all year long will end up being true. Everyone kept saying they were sort of paper tigers that were running away with the league, and that they were sitting there going that those teams won't hold up in the playoffs. If that happens tonight, if Denver wins, that will be coming true.
So I thought the Cavs offense really good. I didn't see them coming out of the East, but I still think Oak City is going to win this whole thing.
Yeah, well,
we'll see. Big
Like
game
the
tonight.
whole NBA championship?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're down 1-0, back against the wall tonight as they play host to Denver, Oklahoma City, 8:30, second half of the doubleheader with TNT. Steph Curry, hamstring, likely out of game 2. Didn't play a lot last night. Warriors win 99-88 over the T-Wolves. Hard to see them winning this thing, though, without Steph Curry, depending on how bad that hamstring is.
From Golden State, it sounds really bad. And I would ask you guys this, because the NBA postseason, it's laughable how long it takes. But if you sat him for a week, he could be back in time for Game 6. I'm just saying, since you got Game 1, wouldn't you want him 100%?
I mean,
a hamstring will linger, it will nag, and with as much movement as he's got on the court.
Yeah.
Steph Curry at 37 years old, he's not going to be ready Game 3. So it's almost, we stole Game 1. Well, they didn't really steal it. They pretty much dominated and held the T-Wolves to 88 points. But I think I would really, really think about rolling the dice if I'm Steve Kerr and keeping him out as long as possible.
All right, so there you go. There's a little NBA for you, another doubleheader tonight. It has been fantastic. And again, I'm a mediocre NBA fan, but in the playoffs, this has been fun to watch every night so far. And I get the feeling tonight will not be an enjoyable night, so don't take it and then go watch it tonight and say, Jimmy, that's
well, is this the way that my ex,
last 2 nights have been fantastic.
Bethany, when I used to watch every Lakers game, she's like, I still just don't understand this. I'm like, I'm a huge Lakers fan. I want to watch, every minute of these games. She was like, if you just watch the final minute, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, it's almost true in the NBA. It really is.
I mean, 20-point comebacks. I sort of do turn it on in the second half.
But
is that bad?
No, but
is that bad? I mean, there's
there's
nothing more boring than the first quarter for me.
No, but wonder if you
basketball.
had they did a special television package for the final 2 minutes.
I said this back in our AM days that this should have been the way they did it every night. That you just
You
show the
pay for the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, well, so you can watch the full game if you want, but there's a special package for the final 2 minutes. Everybody gets notifications. Hey, Pacers, Cleveland, there's 2 minutes to go. It's a 9-point game. Time to turn in.
This was my idea back in the day was you would just start your primetime broadcast and you have the games paced out. It's like, all right, our first stop tonight, we're about to go to the fourth quarter, in New York, and then you work your way across the country
red zone style.
until you're ending up in Staples, starting the fourth quarter at Staples.
That's the thing. Now, I watch every Dolphins play, but if you watch the last hour of red zone, you feel like you've watched the entire early slate. I mean, I know
it's just dizzying.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it is one game to another. They are constantly going to a good finish on NFL red zone.
But see, that I think that would be a brilliant idea. That it's not like the red zone where you're bouncing around too quickly because it can get fast and quad boxes and all that. But if you just have fourth quarters of a series of games, they show a doubleheader on TNT. So instead of showing me 2 full games, why don't you show me 8 fourth quarters? And have it staggered
so
out.
I'm always getting a fourth quarter.
Is it going to be tough to sell the other 46 minutes to advertisers, though?
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a tough sell.
Well, I'm not worried about that because my broadcast package is just the fourth quarters.
I'm just the consumer. What do I care?
Don't you watch in the first quarter and you're like, why am I watching the first half?
I mean, you're up, 24-6, and you're like, doesn't matter.
Yeah. People are still coming to their seats. They've got their concessions in their hands.
Yeah.
People are walking on the sidelines to get to those seats. There's another 3, 24-6.
Don't worry. This will be a one possession game at the end. I know it's 24-6 right now.
I didn't mean to get too excited about that idea I had back in the day, but that was me and my imaginary friend, and we sourced that out, and I was like, man, that would be fantastic.
Both of us would watch it.
Yeah. All right, that's our opening segment. When we come back, LT ranked SEC quarterbacks. Some of you liked it. Most of you did not because everybody's got their favorite. I'll be honest, I didn't like his number 1. I wouldn't agree with it. We'll show you what that list is if you have not seen it at Next Round Live yet. And then we'll talk about quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference, and we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer about his quarterback. That's all coming up on the show that is being brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill. If you want to jump on the locks tonight, lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com.
We've got 5 plays in Major League Baseball. We've got both NBA games up and available right now. lanceslock.com. You get a free play every single day. $100 gets you the entire month. Jump on board. Win with us. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made for quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made for quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, back with you on the Next Round, LTD&B. Don't forget, We are out at Regions next Wednesday. We're looking forward to that. We thank you for joining us for 3 shows in 3 days on Thursday, Friday, and Monday out in Pell City for our friends at Lake Fest, out at Barber's with our Indy Racing League friends, and then Monday at Trampled by Tacos for Cinco de Mayo. And if you're out at Regions, say hi to us. We'll be up in the walk-on stage, and then with our Coca-Cola series going on.
I talked to a guy last night that saw our show, Trampled by Tacos, and he's like, we go there all the time. And he said, I went there Monday. I have never seen anything like it. He's like, the crowd that was there for Cinco de Mayo was insanity.
You know, when you're a new restaurant, I think it gets tough to figure out like how things are going to go. And, you know, we're sitting outside, and it was, at that point, it was early. It was like 4 o'clock. And I think I looked at you on the way, and I was like, man, they got an outside bar with a full staff. Like, I think they might have overstaffed here.
Nope.
But I told you.
Yeah, Jim
I
called
was like, it's 4 o'clock. Nobody's off work yet. Yeah.
I know.
We tend to start those shows a little early.
Yeah,
No, we do. And look, and we've got a very
tell people to get there.
We've got a flexible schedule, so we're able to get out a little early. I remember it was so funny when we used to do 6 to 10. We were doing mornings in radio, and I would meet clients, and Superior Grill, speaking of Mexican restaurants, was kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, what time do you want to meet? And this was like for cocktails and to discuss business. I'd be like, 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
And they're like, 11 o'clock? And I was like, well, that's what time they open.
During the morning days,
I've been
I
up
was
for
always
7 hours.
I was always the first customer at walk-ons.
Oh, yeah, I
Every
remember.
day. There were times there was times I was there when they were doing their pep cheer right before they would open the doors. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
And I'd be like, I was like, go ahead, don't bother me. Be as loud as you want.
Y'all know what I want anyway.
Yeah,
If you just bring me a Diet Coke real
I really
quick.
would have clients like, hey, my mouthwash doesn't go well with this margarita at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Hey, our Michelson viewing menu coming up right now, brought to you by our friends at Michelson, and then we will get to LT's quarterback rankings. Tell us about Michael.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sit you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
So tonight I'm going to the movie theaters to see a movie early. It's a movie called Clown in a Cornfield.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're taking It and Children of the Corn, and we're mixing them together?
They had a baby.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Oh, wow.
Oh, seriously?
Good call, Jim.
Yeah, a fading Midwestern town is terrorized by Friendo the Clown, a symbol of bygone success.
I have heard this is the Citizen Kane of the 21st century.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be that. I hope it's decent.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, man, a lot of effort to roll into a theater to hope it's decent.
I hope it's decent, Tyler says.
Do you ever walk out?
No.
So you stay till the end?
No, if I walk out, then there's no way I can review it.
Okay. Do you ever look
I've
at your
walked out of
phone
3
during
movies.
boring parts of it?
What's that?
Do you ever walk out you look at your phone during very boring parts of the movie? Because obviously some of these you're the only one in the theater.
I try not to pull out my phone unless I'm the only one in the theater, and I'll usually just excuse me. I'll usually just take notes if I'm the only one in the theater.
Was that a real clearing of your throat, or you pull out your phone a lot and you were joking by, I rarely pull out my phone?
No, that was a real clearing of the throat.
I didn't know if you were
killing me today.
I didn't know if you were sitting there filming it and you were letting me know that you film it, but stop talking about it, Jim.
No, nothing like that.
I remember going to my buddy Chief that you guys know. We were at the movies. This is way back in the day, probably late 80s, early 90s. And remember they used to run the thing, and we had a buddy with us that didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything, and he got so pissed. But remember they used to run, thank you for not smoking in Carmike theaters.
Yep.
And the first thing he would always do was light up a cigarette at that point. But it was amazing seeing people smoke cigarettes back in the day in a theater.
Tim has a story about somebody watching, I think it was the new King Kong movie, and somebody was just chain smoking in the side by the entrance.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
Nowadays, it only takes, you could be 100 yards away and somebody lights a cigarette, you can smell it. 100 or any other thing that you would like.
Yes.
Yeah,
What else are you watching?
If you don't want to see Clown in a Cornfield, then at 8:30 on the AMC channel, you can watch Moneyball.
Okay.
An actually good well-written, well-acted movie.
Sports movie. Yeah, a lot of them are not well written or well acted, but I thought Moneyball was.
Moneyball's great. And then also Hulu has added the first 4 Mission Impossible movies to its catalog. So if you want to catch up or refresh yourself on the Mission Impossible series before the new one comes out on Memorial Day weekend, then you can do it on Hulu.
Have you heard of this Argentinian series on Netflix, The Eat or Not? And it's based on, it's a sci-fi series. People are comparing it to The Last of Us. But there's like an alien invasion, and it comes down. I'm only 3 episodes in. It's 6 episodes total, and it got great reviews. It's been good. It's just kind of boring, but alien invasion, this one takes place in Buenos Aires. And when it's basically a snow, but it's toxic, so it kills people. And I haven't gotten to the alien part yet, but people are raving about this thing. I thought it's okay.
I haven't heard anything about it. I usually don't get to watch much series unless it's like a big HBO show or it's based on something I already know.
Yeah,
like I'll be watching Alien Earth on FX when it comes out this summer.
But you just choose to go to movies.
I choose to go to movies, yeah. I'd
a lot
much
of
rather
them.
watch movies than TV shows most of the time.
And that's what Tyler is watching today, brought to you by our friends at Michelson. The show's also being brought to you today by our friend Alexander Shunnarah, the trial attorney that started his dynasty right here locally.
Indeed, he did. 24 years later, they have grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. Alex's mission, always to create a firm that can handle any issue his community faced. So Alexander Shunnarah's firm now handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
We're about to show you LT's ranking that Taylor asked him to do for our social media of all 16 SEC quarterbacks. I will tell you this. I was not the first to say it, but I have said it often on this show. Brown would probably tell me Clay Travis said it first, but I don't think South Carolina lives up to the hype and the expectations, which is why I disagree with LT's list. Show me the list. Let's show you LT's rankings of the SEC quarterbacks. He puts Lenore Sellers number 1. I felt like yesterday or earlier this week you were trying to tell Pate or somebody that Mateer was your favorite, but you went Sellers over Mateers.
I brought this up to Pate. I was like, obviously very subjective, very difficult to do, and that was kind of my point. But I was like, I've got Sellers 1, Mateer 2, and Nussmeier 3. And I forgot exactly how Pate answered that. But if you watch Lenore Sellers last year, to me, pure talent, he has got the most talent of any quarterback I've seen in the SEC.
But to be good at quarterback, you got to have people around you.
No doubt. So I'm not saying that equates to another 9-win season. I kind of lean with you based on schedule. They're probably a 7-5 team. But just watching Sellers, and it seemed like kind of the wake-me-up moment was that Alabama win or loss that they almost came back and won. And
it did feel like a win.
Yeah, and he did miss a couple of throws late. But after that, that's when they went on that 6-game winning streak, and he was playing next level.
Now, keep in mind with Mateer at Oklahoma, new to the SEC here, he was at Washington State, and how this happened is they hire his offensive coordinator, Arbuckle, first at Oklahoma. But in order to take the job, he tells Oklahoma, I'm only taking the job if I can bring Mateer with him. So it was a package deal all along between Arbuckle and Mateer to be at Oklahoma together. Wherever the OC was going, he was going to take Mateer with him.
Okay, let me say this about Mateer. A lot of people are saying his game's not going to translate going from Washington State to the SEC. He is going to be playing with much more talented players around him.
Than Sellers.
Watching Mateer, like he was winning or keeping them in games single-handedly last year. I know the competition wasn't what he will face. If the offensive line isn't improved, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. And that's another reason, we'll get to Jackson Arnold in a minute. Well, I think he's going to be so much better because I think the offensive line is going to be so much better.
But you view Oklahoma having upgraded in this deal.
Yes.
The Mateer for Jackson Arnold trade, essentially.
Yeah, I think Mateer's a better quarterback.
So, so Oklahoma has lost their starter but upgraded. Yep. Okay. I don't know how many people feel that way. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I think Mateer is probably one's always going to be a hot button unless it's a slam dunk. 2 years ago, if we did this and I put Jaden Daniels, nobody's going to say anything. But because there's no, if you put Arch Manning at number one, people are going to be like, how in the hell can Arch Manning be number one? He hadn't started the full season, which I get. And that's, he might end up being the most talented guy. And I feel like he's going to be really successful with the skill around him in that system. But I haven't seen enough of him.
Listen, I don't want to stick it to Peyton Thorne as he walks out the back door, right? But Jackson Arnold is an upgrade for Auburn, so it's a win-win situation in both these places, right?
Yeah, I would think this is kind of like the Goff and Stafford deal. Win-win, right? Detroit did well.
Oh, I know it's an upgrade for Auburn. I was just curious if you also viewed it as an upgrade for Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah. Now you've got –
obviously you do.
In your ranking, you've got Auburn now with a top 6 quarterback in the SEC.
I think Jackson Arnold's going to be that good. I really do. I don't think he had much of a fighting shot last year.
So with that receiving room, if they can get all O-line right, I like Alston at running back. With that receiving room, if you've got a top 6 quarterback in the SEC, you should be pretty darn good at Auburn offensively.
I think he is one of those guys a lot of people are going to be talking about. Man, we didn't realize how good this Jackson Arnold guy was. He got sacked 50 times last year. It was an awful offensive line. Not only that, let's not forget that Brent Venables panicked on quarterbacks and couldn't really find a rotation. He yanks Arnold his first SEC start.
That's right. Now, that was a terrible SEC start, but again, it was not all his fault.
And a horrible coaching decision by Brent Venables.
Oh, you thought so?
Yeah.
I did not in that game. Dunaway, they couldn't move the football.
Yeah, but it wasn't Jackson Arnold's fault.
But the backup came in and moved the football.
Yeah, because he was running.
I mean, Jim, you can't just discount that.
It was only because he was running, but
okay, well, that's sometimes why you change quarterbacks to get a different.
Sometimes you don't want to lose the season because you're having a bad moment in a part of a game. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
We can differ on that.
We will.
I mean, we got to go 12 games.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't play out, and Arnold came back in and at times played well for them.
Nussmeier and Manning was your 3 and 4 on the list. Everyone will say, okay, Manning at 4. You're just trying to make a list to not have Manning up there, but I think that's fair.
No.
He's sight unseen.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought hard about putting Nussmeier at number 1.
Yeah, he's my number 1.
Well, just because he's got a lot around him. But I'm just saying pure talent, what I saw from Lenora Sellers, and it's funny because I didn't realize this thing had blown up as much and how people would be upset their quarterback wasn't high enough or their quarterback's too low, whatever. But the one knock was people were like, and you must not watch football at all if you've got Sellers at number 1. Did you even watch him play last year? I didn't respond to any of it, but yeah, a lot.
Yeah. All right, we watch a lot of SEC football.
I'd say.
But Nussmeier, who I like, I think Arch Manning will be really good. DJ Lagway comes in at 5. The kid obviously has a lot of talent.
A lot of talent, but, one of the reasons I would have had him higher, I don't know how healthy he's going to be.
Now, you do have Alabama's Ty Simpson right there at number 8. When you look down the list, after DJ Lagway, Jackson Arnold, I think we know what we have. After that, it's not the most impressive group of quarterbacks in the SEC. We've had deeper quarterback rosters in the league when we had 12 teams, 14 teams, 16 teams.
Yeah, here's where it became a problem. Guys like Austin Simmons, we saw him that first drive against Georgia. I think he's going to be really good. It's a Lane Kiffin offense, so he's going to have an opportunity to put up big numbers. Same with Ty Simpson, with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. A lot of these guys we haven't seen a lot of, and that was the other kind of hot button. How do you have Diego Pavia that low?
No. That low?
Oh, my God. Everybody was like, Diego is so much better than all of these other guys you've got on here.
There's no way.
No, there is not a single coach in the top 8 of your rankings right there that would trade their quarterback for Diego Pavia.
And that's what I look at. I mean, and so I looked at my rankings again. I'm like, I wouldn't change it. I feel pretty good about these.
No, the one I find most interesting is Gunnar Stockton at 12. I didn't watch him and think he was a world beater, but to see Georgia's quarterback all the way at number 12 is a little bit stunning to me.
Obviously, the team was excited when he came in the second half of the SEC championship game after the injury to Carson Beck. But I don't think you watched him in the college football playoffs and thought that he could navigate the schedule they've got to navigate and win a championship for Georgia.
I felt it was unfair, but you give me one of those guys that you feel really good Gunnar Stockton should be in front of. It does seem weird.
Again, I'm not going to make that argument that he should be in front of any.
Well, and
of
I would
them.
ask, and then back to Dunaway's point,
I would have Pavia behind him. I just think Diego Pavia is going to have a flat season, second time around the league.
You might have gotten death threats for that.
With these defensive coordinators. I would have Pavia down.
But honestly, the Stockton thing, how many of those coaches, how many of the 11 in front would be like, okay, I'll give you our quarterback for Diego or for Gunnar Stockton?
To your point with Pavia, Dunaway, I don't think Kirby would trade Stockton for Pavia, and I don't think Lee would trade Pavia for Stockton. I think Lee would rather go to battle with Diego Pavia than Gunnar Stockton, but I don't think Kirby would say, I'll take Diego Pavia.
Pavia wouldn't fit the talent they have at Georgia, and Stockton couldn't do for Vandy with their talent what Pavia does for them. Interesting list. You can see it if you want to comment more and maybe get Lance to respond at Next Round Live, on all the platforms. Go check that out. Later in the show, or maybe tomorrow, either later in the show or tomorrow, give me a dark horse candidate to be all-conference SEC. Dark horse candidate to be all-conference quarterback in the ACC, Big Ten, and Big 12 as well. Not your favorites. So for you couldn't give me anybody at the top of your list. How deep would you go down to give me an all-conference quarterback?
Oh, I could go deep on that list.
Yeah, because there's somebody down there think.
Ty Simpson's 8.
It's later in the show.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I could go deep on this list.
Later in the show. Okay. Our show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop.
Great place to go to pick up a couple of steaks, some great ribs, chicken, any of the fresh meat right there. Great staff of butchers. Original location, Cabo Heights. Newest location, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also, the great, huge deli sandwiches. You can order right there at the substation. Those are available for lunch or dinner. You can sit out on that great patio. Fantastic sides, an incredible selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, rare quality, well-done service. Get in and see Jim and the great staff, the New York Butcher Shop.
Whoa, LT. Speaking of Ty Simpson, here's Kalen DeBoer speaking yesterday at the Hoover Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Kalen DeBoer was the guest speaker, and he had a chance to talk to our friends at ABC 3340, where Ty Simpson was the subject. Here's the Bama coach.
And Ty's growth continues to happen, and it needs to happen. He hasn't played a lot of snaps of college football, but he's been, building on what he was coming out of high school. And last year was a great year, getting to know him and kind of what makes him tick and where he thrives and what he's comfortable with. And he's working hard to improve his skill set and take it to the next level. He's done just a really nice job, growing the relationships, and I think that's what you appreciate also about Ty is who he is as a person, not just what he does as a football player.
They like Ty Simpson a lot. Alabama quarterback battle over with, in your opinion?
I'm starting to think it is. Now, Keelan Russell is kind of the X factor. And this is kind of the situation. I had Mississippi State fans, Kamario Taylor, and he had a great spring game. And Kamario Taylor's a 5-star, one of the highest recruits Mississippi State's ever had. It is so difficult for true freshmen to get out there, especially in the SEC. And, I think Russell, you're going to see him. You're probably going to see him early and often. But I think they're really comfortable with Ty.
I don't know if I'm ready to declare it over. I think there is a clear leader, though. All he's got to do is win one more state, and he'll have the Electoral College. I think we're kind of that close with Ty Simpson. Anything else would feel like an upset, but I guess I would leave the door open for an upset.
It seems like everyone is in their head has it around that Keelan Russell will have a package, much like Jalen Milroe will have a package with the Seahawks, that almost they'll have a Keelan Russell package throughout the course of this season. Isn't that the sort of feel you get?
Yeah, and look, you've got a luxury if you're Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. Obviously, Alabama fans are like, okay, 9 wins isn't good enough. You got to get us back to the college football playoff. But it's not like Kalen DeBoer is going anywhere. So Ty Simpson, has bought his time. He's earned an opportunity to start. So I think he will be the starter. If Russell ends up being the better guy, I think they would pull the trigger. I think it's a little different. I wanted to go back to Mississippi State because I wanted to ask you guys. I think Blake Shapen's not a bad quarterback. But if you're Jeff Lebby, I just look at a situation where Zach Arnett was fired after 1 year. Different circumstances. He was an interim guy. But if you're Jeff Lebby, do you go quicker to the future knowing that, hey, I'm a young coach. If he shows flashes, even though we're losing games, I can still point to, hey, we're playing for the future.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in Mississippi State, because if you,
but it is different at State than Bama, right?
It is, but if you play him, then he could be so good that he goes somewhere else next year. If you don't play him, he's mad, and he could go somewhere else next year.
That's right.
So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You almost have to play it as a one-year decision, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
not as much about the future.
I mean, you play him, and he shows any flashes,
he's gone.
Georgia's going to come get
That's
him.
right.
Or Texas, or Tennessee.
But you don't play him, and he's going to get disgruntled. He may end up at Louisiana Monroe or somewhere worse like that.
No, he probably end up at Georgia
he
or
could.
Texas or somewhere else. I mean, it's just so hard at Mississippi State. Speaking of leaving, Kalen DeBoer was asked again at that prayer breakfast about not losing anyone in the spring portal. That had not completely happened when he was live on our show. So I wanted you to hear Kalen DeBoer's thoughts on nobody leaving in the spring portal at Alabama.
A lot of it the first year was about retention. We really needed about everyone on the team with what we had lost in January a year ago. Mm-hmm. And so I think, going through year one now, we have the guys, more and more of the guys that really feel like this is what they want to be a part of with the direction we're going, feel good about the value that they're creating within the team, and just also the development that they're going to get through our coaching staff. And I feel great about that. I love what our coaches are doing, the investment they're making in these guys, and that just trickles down, the chemistry from the staff on down to the players. These guys, walk into the building and, feel like it isn't about punching in a clock and punching out. It's about showing up and enjoying everything about the day that's going to come at them, all the highs, the lows, the challenges, excited about the adventure, and, of course, the desire to be the best they can be.
Yeah, that's Kalen DeBoer there from our friends at ABC 3340. All right, hour one in the books. The show being brought to you by our friends at New Life Art. I'll tell you what's coming up in just a second, but what's always there for you at New Life Art is just unbelievable pieces of work that wakes up the echoes of great moments in, say, Alabama football history. You see a lot of those great ones right there, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. You can go check it out there, and that includes the legend, Nick Saban, the latest from Daniel A. Moore. He's got more in the works, and hopefully some great moments ahead in the Kalen DeBoer era. Check it all out online at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR, hour 2 next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
A pretty big get yesterday in the portal. Penn State picked up former North Carolina standout Amari Campbell. Campbell had 6.5 sacks last year for Carolina. He had gone in the portal in December when Matt got fired, and then came out of the portal when they hired Belichick. Now he's in the portal again and ends up going to Penn State. And he had 6.5 sacks last year in the ACC, so that Penn State team looking pretty good there.
You know who is getting rave reviews on their portal work is Miami. I know we talked about it a little bit with the Bird Auburn deal, but I saw another article last night that said if not LSU, Miami had the most successful spring portal of anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We've mentioned that a couple of times along the way. LSU, Miami, among the ones that have spent the money.
Got to say, though, we talked about Miami last year in that regard.
Yep.
Now, it looked really good for a lot of the season. I mean, they were surviving. Look, it was a solid 10-win season, but, what is the expectation for Miami now?
Well,
I think it's to win the ACC, right?
Klatt just had them – where did Klatt have them, like 14th, 15th, 18th?
I think it was around 18
and
Joel Klatt.
Yeah, I said then in real time, that is a huge disappointment. I think if Miami is not in the playoffs, Klatt's coming right there at 18.
Yeah, but that is second in the ACC.
It is, but if Miami's not in the playoffs, that is a failure by Mario Cristobal.
But,
this year.
last year they go out and they get Cam Ward, they get Damian Martinez, a running back out of Oregon State, and both of those, Cam Ward exceeded expectations.
He did. He became the number one pick. Yeah.
Unbelievable. But then Damian Martinez lived up to all the expectations. He was a 1,000-yard guy.
Yep. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Odie's, and I'll ask you a question about, because you guys have to turn in your 40 and 40 by midnight tomorrow night. Your vote on the top 25 preseason rankings that we start next Tuesday. And we look forward to counting down all the way up to SEC Media Days. I'm about to ask you who should be number one in college football, and we'll pull up Klatt's again to look at. Odie's tonight. It's Wednesday, right, LT?
Every Wednesday, Odie's Team Trivia. Me and Brown will be out there along with Will Haver. We'll start a little after 8 o'clock. Get there early, enjoy the great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets as well. Again, Odie's Team Trivia. If you've never been before, you don't know what you're missing. If you've been, you need to come back out. Check it out. 2 locations, Crestline, newest location, Edgewood. It's Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
Okay, so of all the people that work up here that vote, Bo is the only one that's turned his in so far.
Dunaway's betting against me, by the way.
Because Brown was about to go on vacation. Brown not here Thursday, Friday. And I told him, you probably want to turn it in today, because if you don't, you're going to miss the deadline.
Dunaway literally said, Brown, I'm just going to remind you again, top 25 is due by midnight Thursday. You're going on vacation. Today is your last day. If you do not turn it in today, you will not turn it in.
Have you ever missed it?
Have I missed it, Jim?
You have. I've extended it for you two because it doesn't really work if you two don't turn it in. Right?
Wait, when did you extend it for me?
I think we've slid it a little bit past the midnight deadline.
But Dunaway was like, Tyler Brown, I know how you think. You'll get in vacation mode. You won't think about the show for 5 days while you're on vacation.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I would do it. If I wouldn't turn it in tonight, I wouldn't have it tomorrow.
So Tyler,
vacation.
you've been with us less than anybody, and you already say that this is true.
I mean, when you check out from the show, you check out, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, but
I'm
you
saying that's a good
champion
thing.
that.
That's a good work-life balance.
Yeah,
you're not
let us know that
constantly
forever. I mean, I don't check out
here.
as much as you, but I check out. I mean, I'm sure as hell not going to listen to it.
For the record, I wasn't arguing with Jim. He's absolutely right. Yeah. If I do not do it at some point today, I will not do it.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone else, I gave him a chance to opt out if you don't want to do it. Tyler, if Tyler doesn't want to do it, no problem. No problem.
No, we can't opt out.
If Taylor and EG don't want to do it, no problem.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, if Bo had not wanted to do it, the poll would have gone on without Bo, who's
one
already
in.
turned his in. But I need you two to turn them in at some point, which is why you really don't have a deadline. It just helps at some point. But if I asked you, and you're not held to this, you can still, because you haven't turned your ballot in yet. But here's Joel Klatt's number one. It is Penn State.
That would not be mine, no.
Okay, I'm just asking who should be number one. And again, you have the right to change your number one. There's a lot of people who you don't have to do this because they won the national championship last year, but a lot of people think Ohio State has such talent that they probably should be number one. There's a lot of people that are going to put Texas. I would say Ohio State and Texas are going to be
1 and 2.
1 and 2 when we get to the AP poll.
Well, and here's the fact of the matter. You can believe what you want about Arch Manning, and you can believe that Ohio State's just going to plug and play, which both are probably true, but we really don't know that. And it is difficult to have a number one team not really knowing what you're going to get at the quarterback position.
Yeah, but there's not a team that you know what you're going to get at the quarterback position that you could justify putting number one, I don't think.
No. Well, I mean, Klatt believed that with Drew Aller.
Well, I don't believe in Penn State, though. That's not a Drew Aller thing. That's a James Franklin thing.
Yeah. But here's my question, Brett.
Well, and real quick, I'm sorry, Jim, but I don't know how Klatt approaches this. This has long been the discussion about how you should do a top 25, and everybody's got an opinion on it. When I was an AP voter, my preseason top 25 was me saying, I think this will be, at the end of the season, the best team in the nation. I think it'll be, in Klatt's opinion, Penn State. I guess the year I voted was probably Alabama because it was the mid-2000s, right? I think Alabama will be the best team in the nation. I think they'll beat Clemson for the national championship. I think the teams 3 and 4 that will be in the playoffs are that's the way I voted.
See, and I put the preseason one. These are, in my opinion, roster-wise, regardless of schedule, the best 25 teams in the country. Because as a voter, I think I'm doing you a disservice in trying to project if you're going to win or lose these games down the road. So in my opinion, these at this moment in time are who I think are the 25 best rosters. And then after week 1, I adjust to what I've seen on the field in week 2, week 3.
And as you know, I made wild adjustments. You hated the way I voted because I would see something like, oh, that's bad. And I would drop a team 5-10 spots, and people would get all pissed. And I'm like, if they go beat a good team tomorrow, I can jump them back 5 or 10 spots. I'm not bound by any sort of rules.
And in the email I sent everyone, including our viewers who have already sent theirs in, great job by the viewers, and they do a great job. In there it says, should this be the teams I think win the national championship or the 25 best teams right now or da-da-da-da. I said, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Vote your conscience.
However you want to consider the top 25 teams. So your number one team in the country right now, you're not held to it. Is it Ohio State or Texas for you, or can you sneak a Penn State or a Clemson in there?
I could sneak an LSU in there maybe.
Okay.
Oh, Tiger Lance.
Yeah. We might as well get back on that bandwagon, right?
Right. Utah second?
I just have a feeling this is when it's all going to come together. The defense was much better last year. Nussmeier was steady Eddie the entire season, but I think he even takes another step forward.
He looked a little shaken in the Alabama game, but
yeah,
maybe that's my crimson-colored glasses.
And first year as a starting quarterback. Now, the hard thing to believe is, can LSU go from being unranked last year to winning a national championship? I just don't feel great about saying.
Boy, that almost never happens.
Yeah, it almost never happens. That's why, I'd love to just put them there, but I really don't know what direction I'm going to go because I don't feel good about. This is not one of those Man, you got a clear-cut favorite this year.
What I wanted to ask you,
and I like Clemson a lot.
With Ohio State and Texas with new starting quarterbacks, when have programs like that put in a new starting quarterback and they haven't been really contenders for the national championship? When's the last time that happened? Because we used to say that about Alabama all the time. Well, Alabama's got a new quarterback. Well, they've also got Nick Saban and a great roster. So I mean, you can't say that about – Ryan Day's not Nick Saban, but Ohio State's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Texas is going to be pretty good.
Here's the difference, because as soon as I say this, there's a but. So last year, your two teams that played for the national championships had brand new starting quarterbacks in Will Howard and Riley Leonard. But both of those guys had a lot of experience before at Power 4 schools.
Yeah, I think it's less meaningful now than it ever has been. I really
experience
do.
at quarterback?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've seen young guys come in and play to a championship. Now, have they won national championships? Maybe not. But the young guys are getting so much better. And I just think it's less meaningful now than it ever has been, experience at quarterback.
Okay, but
given the choice, I would take experience. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Used to, you would only consider experience.
Let's go the top 5 teams last year to end the season.
Yep.
Ohio State. They had experience at quarterback.
They did. Brand new starter, but an experienced starter. Right.
Yeah.
But it was experience,
it
right?
It was, yes.
Number 2, Notre Dame.
Again, same exact thing. Yep.
Oregon, new starter, but a lot of experience in Dylan Gabriel.
He played everywhere.
Number 4, Quinn Ewers. Started for 3 years.
Yep.
And then Drew Aller.
Yeah.
A couple of years experience.
No, you're right.
So all these guys did have experienced quarterbacks to your top 5.
Yeah. So one play, and I understand Lance's line of thinking here, but I'm not sure he's right about this. It's not a flawed line of thinking. I get what you're saying. I'm just not certain you're 100% right. You have said many times that if Arch Manning were that much better than Quinn Ewers, he would have been starting last year, not Quinn Ewers. I understand the logic. I don't think it's flawed logic. Well, maybe it is flawed logic. I don't think you're right in this. And here's the example I use. I think Sark got caught where Nick Saban got caught with Tua Tagovailoa. I've got an obviously better quarterback. Nick Saban had zero doubt in his mind Tua was the better of the two quarterbacks. But Jalen never really did anything up until the very end to lose his job. And Quinn Ewers never really did anything to lose his job.
No, and look, and I'm not going to question anything Nick Saban's done.
Right.
But if it's Sark, it's a disservice to everybody involved if you're not playing the best guy. Because Texas was really close last year with Quinn Ewers.
Yep.
If Arch Manning is better than Quinn Ewers, is that the difference in getting to the semis or winning a national championship?
What if they're the same, though?
And that was going to be my point, Jim.
Could be.
I just don't think there's going to be a drop-off. I think worst case scenario, you've got the same level of quarterback play as you had for Quinn Ewers last year.
That's kind of what I think. It's not going to be a drop-off.
Right.
I think it's going to be about the same.
I actually think it's going to be better. Maybe not significantly better. I think it will be better, but I don't think there'll be a drop-off there. So I am willing to say Texas will be my number 1 team, and I'm not going to change that. I'll have Texas when I send you later this afternoon my top 25. You'll see that number 1 will be Texas.
Is this the way I need to do this live on the show? Brent, who would be your number 2 team now?
Give me
and I'll just write it down for you.
My problem with Texas, again, Sark is a better coach than he used to be. I just haven't seen it.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, do I only give you 25?
Of course, I had Ohio State number 1 last year. We had never seen it with Ryan Day.
It's our top 40 and 40. I don't have to give you 40 teams. I'll only give you 25, right? You build the 40 out of everybody's 25.
That is the way it works.
I'll give you 25 teams.
That is the
by
way
the
it
end
works.
of the day. Actually, I'll give you 24 more. You can go and write Texas down.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, this just came from people that monitor this. The podcast industry that we're part of generated $7 billion in sales.
We only want one of those billion
this past year. So a great platform to be a part of here, including our friends right there at Woodhouse Day Spa. They're a part of it. LT.
What is coming up this weekend, fellas?
That's Mother's Day, Lance.
Mother's Day. And look, we're procrastinators by nature. All guys are. You haven't bought mom anything. You got to take care of mom for Mother's Day this weekend. Very simple gift. She's going to absolutely love it. Is a gift card from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. The great thing about this, you can, if you want, go up to the summit, pick one up right there. You can shop around for mom. Or you can just go online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can order the gift card right there. Simple solution. Let mom choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Remember Mother's Day this weekend. If you haven't bought that gift, very simple. Go online right now, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Also, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, stay on top of your health. Literally, early detection in this situation can save your life. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, or go online to urologycentersalabama.com. They've got 16 locations, one convenient for you, and they've also got the opportunity there for you to jump in there and maybe if it's that time of life for a vasectomy or anything between prostate health and kidney stones, they'll take care of. 35 urologists, 16 locations, 205-930-0920, or Urology Centers of Alabama.com. Hey, keep an eye on the Padres and Yankees tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Prime. Max Fried, former Brave pitcher, 6-0 with a 1.01 ERA right now. Maybe the best pitcher in baseball after that 8-year, $218 million contract. They'll discuss his outing and where Fried ranks in the pennant race tomorrow when they're live at 12:15 here on the platform for a new edition of the pennant race. You can catch that. Braves win last night as well as they wrap up a series with the Reds. But Shohei Ohtani last night hit a huge bomb in Miami to get to his 10th home run. He's got 10 home runs and 10 stolen bases, only person in Major League Baseball to have that this year. He is literally on a faster pace right now with 10 home runs, 10 stolen bases than he was last year when he created the category of a 50 home run, 50 stolen base guy. The only guy in Major League Baseball history to have 50 homers and 50 stolen bases in the same season. He's on a faster pace than he was last year for 50 and 50 at 10 and 10 already. When it's all said and done, we'll probably do this topic 62 more times before this show's over with. Is Shohei Ohtani on pace to maybe be the best baseball player we've ever seen in America?
I think we discussed this with Buster last year.
Can he be that guy?
I think Buster, if I remember right, left the door open for this.
Yeah, if he comes back healthy, and we saw him on the mound, and he becomes a guy that's winning 15-plus games, and he's a dominant frontline starter.
What if he never pitches again? I mean,
just what he does offensively.
Is he not doing enough for everything else?
No, he is. But right now, who is the – this is tough. Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. And I'm just talking about, right now you can make the argument that Judge is more impactful at the plate than Ohtani. And I'm a huge Shohei fan. I'm just saying if we're talking about, all-time guys, if you've got two guys that are doing it right now and you can't even really – make up your mind on who the best guy is offensively right now, that would be my only hesitation. And that's why I bring up if he ever comes back and he's a frontline starter, then we really can start having that discussion.
That gets you over the hump, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Is he regarded as a good fielder?
Yeah.
Okay. So, he is.
He's a 5-tool guy.
He's really probably a 6 or 7-tool guy, right. Honestly, based on his pitching ability.
Dude, even as it misses, so I think it was 5th inning, we were over at Truist on Sunday. He hit one, I don't know if you guys were watching it. It touched the clouds, and it was all the way back, warning track, Michael Harris back to wall. Ends up being, I want to call it a can of corn, but, the ball traveled 500 feet, it looked like, with the height and everything.
Long out.
Yeah. I guess the best all-around – a lot of people consider Willie Mays the best all-around player of all time.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who you argued for.
I would say the best player I've ever seen personally is Barry Bonds. I think Ken Griffey Jr. would have been that without the injuries.
Yeah, I don't know if Bonds defensively was what Willie Mays was.
He just didn't have the arm.
Yeah. It's hard not to consider this guy the best all-around we've seen, especially if he can come back and pitch.
Yeah, tremendous at what he's doing right now. Tremendous last night. The Giants scored 9 runs in the 11th inning. 9 runs in their top half of the 11th to beat the Cubs 14-5 at Wrigley. That's the fifth time that, the 5th largest margin of victory in extra innings in Major League Baseball history in 125 years of keeping that record. That's the 5th largest margin of victory in extra innings.
It's hard to win that big in extra innings, there's no doubt.
9 runs in the top of the inning. And then the White Sox, Forrester, lost a game yesterday all because of a pop fly in the 9th inning that would have ended the game that hit your second baseman in the top of the head.
Yeah.
Sure did.
This is so
Sure
White
did.
Sox 2024.
I wish I could show the video too. It's incredible.
Did he lose it in the
A
empty
major leaguer.
seats? Did he lose it in the empty seats in the sun? What was it?
No.
There's plenty of those.
Yeah.
No, he's a major leaguer. It doesn't matter if it's right in the middle of the sun. You're supposed to catch those. Hit him in the head. White Sox are 10-26. Thank God for the Rockies. They're 6-28. So that gets me to my question. We all love baseball. We don't watch it a ton. But as we sit here today, can you name every division leader right now in Major League Baseball?
I'll be the best test of this because I've watched very little Major League Baseball. You want me to see if I can do it first?
Okay, you say it, and I'll let LT say you're right
Okay.
or wrong. American League East.
The New York Yankees.
That is correct.
All right, I am 1 for 1.
Keep
score, Tyler.
The American League Central.
That's going to be a tough one. That is a bunched-up division.
If you watch baseball, it is easy this year, though.
Oh, Brown, at least credit for bunch-up division. There's
Yeah.
the top 3 teams separated by 2 games.
That's right. But I think the team that is on top would be the Cleveland Indians.
It's not correct.
Yeah.
Sorry.
1 for 2.
Yes, thank you, Tyler.
It's a lot of people view this actually the best team in the American League because I brought them up a couple of days ago, the Detroit Tigers.
Detroit Tigers by a game and a half.
Are the Twins up there too?
Yeah, don't give me a buzzer until LT answers as well.
I think
Twins
he
are in
knows.
4th place, just ahead of the White Sox. The American League West.
This is going to be a tough one too. Out in the American League West, a lot of good teams out there. Strong division this year.
No need to fill time. We got other
Okay,
things to
Jim.
do.
I'm sorry. The Houston Astros.
Houston Astros in 4th place again.
Yeah. So they didn't start strong, but the Seattle Mariners have really come on.
Seattle Mariners by 2 games over.
The Seattle Mariners right now over the Rangers.
Nope, simply the Athletics.
Oh, yeah. The Sacramento Athletics.
As Cody points out, not only did Brown miss the AL Central, he called them by the wrong team nickname. Yes. All right.
And the
I'm 1 for 3. Is that right?
And the Braves division moved to the National League. You've always been a National League guy.
Yeah, you know me, big NL guy.
To show you how far off you've been on the Twins and the last one, the Astros, your Nationals are 4th in this division,
That's right.
the National League East. So don't say Nationals.
Yeah, big Nationals
They
guy.
scored 10 plus in the last 2 of the last 3, though.
Philadelphia Phillies have your lead in the East.
LT?
The Mets.
Yeah, the Mets.
I was going to say the Mets.
By almost
1 for
3
4.
full games.
Yeah.
By gap, almost.
1 for 4.
Yeah.
It's not a bad day hitting. It's 250.
National League Central.
This is another bunch division. That's what makes this very difficult, Tyler.
Actually, separated by 3 games. at the
I
top.
was talking about behind the
Yes,
leader, Jim.
yes.
If you'll let me finish my sentence. Behind the leader, it is bunched, and that leader would be your Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, they're 3 games behind the Chicago Cubs.
God, I was
Sorry,
gonna say the Cubs.
Jumped in there,
1
LT.
for 5.
You knew that.
You knew that,
I
though, didn't you?
apologize. Yeah, he did. And then the National League.
That's the Padres.
No.
The Dodgers.
I thought the Padres had edged the Dodgers.
Well, you got the Yankees right.
Yeah.
So you got one.
I got one,
Yeah.
Tyler. What was
Yeah.
it?
1 for 6.
Okay, 1 for 6.
In fairness, though, the Padres are only a half game out.
Well, yeah.
I
Are
would
they
still-
tied in the win column or the loss column? Am I right about that?
Well, yeah, to be a half game out, you got to be tied in one.
I would
Which one?
still
Oh, wait, they're tied in the win column.
No, loss column.
would still much rather you watch Jurassic Park than
The
any
Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm watching them both about the same, it appears.
So enjoy that. Enjoy that tonight. One more
Hitting
thing.
142 there, Brown. 1 for 7.
I could have started for the Braves early in the year. Not anymore.
Our tender moment of the day brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. I got to ask you a very emotional question here. It's our tender moment of the day.
Bojangles chicken tenders. You know what mixes great with these great tenders at Bojangles? How about some sweet or some heat? Bojangles has 7 sauces that definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than the hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for a sweet, try honey mustard. You want some tang? Try barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try the creamy buffalo or the peach honey pepper. And if you're craving something smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce, ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
NBC is getting the NBA back next year, and they are doing so many things correctly. I mean, people are fired up about them getting it back. They're bringing back Round Ball Rock, which was the theme song. Brown was humming it earlier. Hit it, Brown.
Fox was using it in college basketball recently, so it has not completely died.
It was a loner,
Yep.
and NBC is taking it back.
Wasn't that John Tesh?
John Tesh did pin that,
Yeah, he's the one that that wrote the song Round Ball Rock. They're hiring great analysts and broadcasters, including the most recent Carmela Anthony will be an analyst for NBC's NBA coverage.
I'm always fascinated to see how these guys are going to do.
Yeah, I know. Anthony has never struck me as that guy, but we'll see.
But our Bojangles tender moment of the day is the line they probably have crossed. Jim Fagan was the voice, the promotional voice of the NBA on NBC, and he died in 2017. Until this went public, NBC's plan was to use AI to recreate Jim Fagan's voice in all of its NBA promotional coverage. And now that has leaked out, there's been an outcry that this is foul. Don't do it. Don't use AI to create Jim Fagan's voice just to wake up the echoes of the NBA on NBC. LT, your thoughts on AI for a guy who has passed away just to make it sound like it used to sound when you had round ball rock?
I think there's talented guys out there. I think we let this one pass. I was thinking about NBC the other day because I was thinking of a topic for us, and it was like people that really have disappeared. Like Peter Vesey, you remember how big he was in NBA?
Yep.
And Summer Sanders, do you remember her doing the Inside the NBA?
Yep.
And I have no idea where those people are anymore.
Nor do I.
But I let the guy go. I don't think you AI a guy's voice.
First of all, I just think NBC has way overvalued how nostalgic this guy's voice is. Like, before the show, Lance was not in here, but we were talking about it. I was like, I don't even really remember what the guy sounded like. We pulled it up, and
but when you heard him, you were like, okay.
But when you say his name, I'm like, it doesn't resonate with me at all.
But even Keith Jackson, I brought this up. I was like, if you had Keith Jackson's voice in an intro, you had AI to recreate Keith Jackson's voice to intro something big college football every week, I would think that's a foul. That's too much. I love Keith Jackson. He is the voice of college football from my generation.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to recreate it with artificial intelligence.
I'm with you. It would help me a little bit if I knew this guy's family was getting the money from this, which I bet they're not. Like, was NBC going to pay the family for this guy's voice?
I don't know, but I think I've learned in the AI world, likely not.
Probably no. But again, I just don't think the round ball rock is what the nostalgia is. Like, fans like me that were NBA fans in the 80s and the early 90s, when to me the NBA was at its peak. I mean, it never got better than the Jordan, Barkley, Karl Malone, Sean Kemp years. I mean, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s mid-90s were peak NBA basketball. Never has been better or has never been to that again. I think that song is going to conjure up those memories far more than this old boy's voice. And you could probably find a guy that sounds close enough to him. Like, I'll be at Birmingham Airport tomorrow.
You'll hear Morgan Freeman, won't you?
I'll hear it sounds like Morgan Freeman, but it is Birmingham Airport Morgan Freeman. It's not even the real Morgan Freeman, but you know what? You never know the difference. And you could probably find that same guy for this old boy.
When we come back on the show in the next segment, not only do we have 4 downs, we'll talk about basketball coaches who may be getting a raise before the start of the next basketball season in college basketball after what Todd Golden got yesterday. And I've slotted him in where I think he was by last year's salary. We'll talk about that coming up and a lot more on the show that's brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill. LT, hot or cold, they take care of you year-round.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Right now, $1,000 off those HVAC units. Special deal going on from our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys here. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hard to stop a train, by the way, you can always go online, hemphillservices.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Birmingham's favorite lawn party is back. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone May 14th through 18th. Watch golf's greatest legends and don't miss the star-studded Celebrity Pro-Am, featuring Nick Saban, Charles Barkley, Nate Oats, Hugh Freeze, and country star Riley Green. Soak up the sun at the White Claw Watering Hole and Casamigos Club. Enjoy the local food trucks and cap off the fun with Monsters of Yacht in concert Saturday following play. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
I think I have that on my playlist somewhere. Did you create that just in your studio at home?
I did not. That's from the YouTube creator library.
You think you have this on your playlist?
Did we get a little more?
Start it over. Start it over for me. I'll tell you what it sounds like. I think I can pull this out.
Okay. Please don't pull it out.
I'll tell you. I know what it's. I don't even think you have to do it anymore. It's
Here it is.
Yeah, I can tell you the name of it right now before you even hit it again. Okay, go ahead and hit it. Oh, I promise you.
Krusty says, Tyler throwing that funky beat.
Yeah.
I wanted to freshen up some of the bumpers.
We appreciate you doing
this
that.
is where the
I like
chick's
that.
voice comes in right here. I know this too. It's not exact.
Oh, wait a minute.
No,
that part right there.
Yeah, no.
That part right there?
It's the first beat.
Oh.
It's not sticky, I don't think. It's oh, I know who it is though. It's the British girl.
Adele?
No.
Amy Winehouse.
Current British.
Oh, do you think it's Charlie XCX? Is that who you're talking about?
Sounds like somebody Dunaway listened to.
No, it's not crazy. She's not crazy. She's It's basically the dude. I talked about this song. The dude goes to work and comes home and I got, the girl says I got a job and I went to work and I came home and you asked me where I've been, and it's
Anne-Marie.
No, I'll find it here in a minute. That's the beat. AI stole that beat right there. We'd be in court if we were trying to sell that right there. The show brought to you by our friends at Lags. Tell us about Lags.
Great place to go for lunch or dinner. We were in there, and I want to just say this guy's name because we were in there on, Saturday. We actually went out to Barber's. We went to the walk-ons tent. We had one drink, and Ken comes up, hey, grab another one if you want it because we're shutting down. This is like 2:15.
Because of rain?
Yeah. And I'm like, y'all are shutting down? He's like, the whole event is shutting down. So I freaked out. I was with Maddie and Drew, and I was like, we got to go. And like they were like, what's going on? Like they thought there was like a bomb threat or
traffic.
something.
That's what's going on.
I was like, we got to beat the traffic out of here. But we went straight to Lags, and when I was in there, we were ordering, and this couple came up, and he's like, this is one of the reasons you guys are so busy is because this guy talks about you guys every single day. And it was a Kansas Jayhawk fan. I just wanted to give him a shout out.
While you're looking, Lola Young Messi.
Lola Young
Messi.
Like Messi, the soccer player?
No, Messy.
Who
Messi.
sings it?
Lola Young.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought that was the name of the song.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Messi.
Chris, the Kansas Jayhawk fan, we appreciate him supporting, and I told him thank you very much.
Rock
But
Chalk
get in.
Jayhawk.
You're going to absolutely love it. I went with the deluxe burger. I did the tots on the side with some of their secret sauce. Just dip the tots in that. But, starting tonight, they're open till midnight. So you've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a little late night going to midnight. Starting tomorrow night through Saturday, you get the true late night. So if you're working that second or third shift, they're open all the way till 2 a.m. You can enjoy the incredible food. Have you gotten the bologna sandwich yet?
I have not. I've been 3 times now, and I've gone with the burger and the tots every time. I should venture off the menu, but I will tell you this about Lags is that there used to be a place, not Waffle House. I still love Waffle House. I'd go and get a square-like steamed burger and eat a bag full of them.
Yeah.
I don't say their name because they may be a sponsor again someday, but to have an option at 2 a.m. to go get the only reason I wouldn't go to the other place now is customer service usually sucks at 1 o'clock in the morning there now. Used to be dialed in at 1 in the morning. Now it sucks. Great customer service and a great burger at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning as the bar closes.
I have got a feeling that this summer that is going to be a hot spot on that patio when the breweries start to shut down. It's located right between Avondale and Cahaba Brewing, and then it's right across from Mom's Basement. But when those places start to close, I think out on that patio, they've got the window. They bring the food to you. Fantastic stuff. Get in, see Eric, Justin, the guys at Lags Eatery right there in Avondale, and make sure you tell them the guys from the next round sent you.
And that gets us to our 4 downs today. LT has that for us here. Tyler hits first down for us.
First down.
I got to pull this.
That's my bad.
Chris, Kansas Jayhawk. Oh.
Yeah. Messy or sticky? I can't remember which one it is. One of those two.
Messy. That was a popular guess in the chat room. Messy and sticky. Yeah.
both
So
of those.
people were trying to help you there.
Yep.
Current job longer. There's Messi.
Yep. That is Lola Young.
Okay.
Yep.
Blake Griffin's got a daughter.
Aptly named.
Okay. Current job longer. Mike Gundy or Brent Venables?
Boy, this Oklahoma team feels like one of these. I don't know who it is from last year, who I'd compare it to, but it feels like some people are convincing themselves this team could be playoff good or Brent Venables gets fired bad, and that's a pretty big gap there. I would say Venables is around longer than Mike Gundy, so I'll go Brent Venables.
I, too, think it'll be Brent Venables. I think they have a good season this year. Tough schedule. Probably just finishes outside of the playoffs. Really depends on probably how they do against Alabama in their game in Tuscaloosa. I'm gonna say Venables hangs around longer. But Gundy seems to like being the coach, and I don't know if they'll do better than Gundy at Oklahoma State. I'd be scared about changing coaches if I was Oklahoma State. But I'm going to say Venables is around longer than Gundy, and Oklahoma will be better this year. I think they're a lot like Clemson was last year. People were ready to push Clemson out, off the main stage. They're ready to push Oklahoma off the main stage now. I think Oklahoma's back into the conversation as a playoff team.
I think both of these teams are going to be really improved, both Oak State and Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma State's got to be improved. They were 0-9 in the Big 12 last year.
Yep.
Look, he's closer to the end of his career, so I will say Venables as well, but I think both of those guys are going to be there for a little bit, but I think Venables will be there longer.
Gundy seems like he's almost to the money income to where he's going to tap out.
Shut her down and go.
No, he's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
Second down.
Same question, Billy Napier or Mike Norvell?
Boy, I think Napier, you were gone. Dunaway asked us for our SEC biggest gains, biggest losses over year to year, right? So biggest change in wins, biggest change in losses. I had Florida at 10-2.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was too much with their schedule.
Yeah. I think you could be sold on 9. You could not be sold on 10.
9 was the ceiling for me. I have them falling around 7 or 8.
If I am right about that, and I could easily be wrong. I'm wrong about most things on this show. But if I am right about that one, Billy Napier's got a new contract. He's not getting fired.
Yeah, I was going to say the narrative has completely changed on Napier if they win 10 games with that schedule this year.
Now, there again, I could easily be wrong. I am so often. But I'm going to go Napier, outlast Mike Norvell.
I think Florida State's improved this year. The
Again,
roster,
much like Oklahoma State, they have
hard to go.
Their roster is improved. Open up with Alabama. I'm going to say both are there a while, but I'm going to go Napier hangs around longer.
I'm going to, the interesting thing is Florida, it seems like they've got a lot more money than Florida State. So if you flipped it, like Norvell is in a good spot based on the fact that I don't think they can fire him. So I do think that gets interesting because Napier could get fired this year. Like if they go 6-6, I think he gets fired. And with that schedule,
I agree.
With an unknown with DJ Lagway's health, I think that's a possibility. It's in play. I am going to say I think Billy Napier is a better coach. I don't think anybody would have said that 2 years ago.
I personally do not think Napier gets fired if they go to a bowl game again.
Well, I guess it depends on who you can get.
That's right.
If you're Scott Strickland, if you believe the next Urban Meyer's out there, then you make the move. But if you don't, you probably stand pat.
I believe Strickland believes in the culture that Billy Napier's building, and I would say Michael Alford, the AD at Florida State, probably thinks he could go get a pretty well-recognized coach.
Oh, he could.
Let me ask you, if you're Rhett Lashley at SMU and either Auburn or Florida State opened up, would you leave SMU for either Auburn or Florida State?
Maybe Florida State.
Why not Auburn?
Yeah.
Oh, I would go Auburn first.
Well, the only reason I would say Florida State
second.
because I've seen what Florida State's been able to dominate in the ACC. It is so much more difficult to get somewhere in the SEC based on everything you've got to deal with. And look, I mean, we can say what we want about Auburn, and I know Auburn fans are going to get upset with this. You're not an elite program.
But I can tap into elite NIL money that SMU can. The only reason I even bring up would you leave SMU for Auburn or Florida State is because NIL money at SMU.
First of all, I don't think I would just because you're in the Big 12 now. You've already proved that you can. Or the ACC, excuse me. You've already proved. Yeah, you did that yesterday.
I know.
Came back to me. You've already proved, though, that you can not only go undefeated in the ACC, get to a college football playoff, and that was in year one. And you talk about the resources. SMU was starving to get back to relevance, and they finally got back there last year. I don't think they're going to quit spending money. So I wouldn't leave, but if I left, it would be Florida State 1, Auburn 2.
I just think the one thing you would have to tell me about Rhett Lashley, how did he view his time in Auburn? Because of those two jobs, he has spent significant time at Auburn. Was that positive for him or negative for him?
It seemed like he got treated like a stepchild.
Well, unfortunately for him, he was a scapegoat too often. And, you know.
I personally believe
that might not necessarily have been Auburn. That could have just been the head coach.
Yeah, I think it was the head coach. I think he loved the area. I think his wife maybe is from the state. He was also at Sanford, remember?
Yeah.
Before he was
Red
at Auburn.
spent a lot of time around here, yeah.
I mean, it would take a lot to leave SMU, but I only bring it up to be, if I'm Michael Alford, Rhett Lashley if I want to get rid of Mike Norvell, Rhett Lashley's, if I could get that caliber of coach, I think I would make a change.
We are going to have your answer on Lashley if they come close to having the season they had last year.
That's right.
They win 9 or 10 games, he's going to get offers.
He'll get all the offers.
Yeah.
Third down.
Same question. Let's go South Florida. Mario Cristobal or Mike McDaniel?
A massive year for both. I mean, McDaniel, I think, has to, bare minimum, make the playoffs. I kind of feel like make the playoffs in advance. It has been so long since Miami has done that.
Did you make the playoffs last year?
That would be a no, Jim.
Ugh. You can't go 2 years at Miami and not make the playoffs. Head coaches.
Is it 92 the last time you guys won a playoff?
92 was the last time we've been in the AFC Championship. 2002 last time we won a playoff.
I would just say that NFL head coaches, if you have never established yourself, you're interchangeable.
Yeah.
And Mike McDaniels was an out-of-the-box hire when they hired him as he was not even the coordinator in San Francisco, right? He was the run game coordinator.
That's right.
And so he was sort of an out-of-box, young, quirky hire, and it has run its course if you miss the playoffs again.
That is right.
Mario Cristobal tapped into NIL money that maybe a lot of people in Miami did not think they had. And I think Mario Cristobal is on firmer ground than Mike McDaniel is.
Here's where I think you're right. I just don't know where Miami is.
I know I'm right.
I just don't know where Miami is in their ability to pay buyouts. Miami University, not University of Miami, not Miami Dolphins. Like, if McDaniel doesn't work, Stephen Ross has all the money in the world. He can buy out a coach, whatever it takes. He'll fire him in a heartbeat. It's a different ball game in college football because I don't know what Cristobal's buyout looks like. If Cristobal's got a big buyout, I don't think Miami Athletics is simply printing money down there.
They have been since Cristobal got there.
They've been printing money?
Yeah, they've got all the money they need NIL-wise.
Well, see, but I thought
them for the second year being in our conversations about buying rosters.
But I thought their big donor had those issues, the Life Wallet guy. That was their big donor, and he's had some issues.
They have a couple other guys, too.
Okay.
Uncle Luther will step up.
Yeah.
I think I could see Tua get injured again this year.
Well, I mean, that's every year.
Yeah, and then they win, they go 6-11, and your guy gets fired. So I am going to say that Mario Cristobal lasts longer.
Fourth down.
We need to hear from the back room on this one. Mr. Beast, 27 years old today.
Back-to-back days with Mr. Beast.
Ultimately, better career, Mr. Beast or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z for me.
Jay-Z.
Ultimately, boy, how much is Jay-Z worth?
Over $1 billion.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
But now, Mr. Beast, there'll come a day where he can knock on that door.
27, he's already worth $550 million. I was having the conversation with Jack yesterday, and Jack said he started following when he had like $48 million.
Yeah.
And he just said he, does all this unique stuff, and he said he's got things planned out for the next 20 years already.
Oh, that's good planning.
And like one of the things he said, I don't know if it's real or not, but like his inner staff, if he dies, like last guy to have hand on tombstone gets.
That is a plan he's mentioned a few times.
Yeah, it's amazing how pre-planned a lot of this stuff is. He got offered, did you know this, $1 billion for his YouTube channel and turned it down?
I'm telling you, I know Tyler completely shut this down yesterday. He's got to have some sort of side deal with YouTube, Tyler.
If I'm going,
he didn't say no.
Doesn't operate like
if he
that.
comes out,
that they don't operate
also,
with us that way.
That'd be a terrible deal for Mr. Beast
You don't know that.
It definitely would be with as many views as he gets and how valuable that sort of space is for advertisers. Because every mobile game is lining up to throw money at Mr. Beast for a 20-second mention.
If, in fact, the theory that I saw on the way to SEC Media Days, Mr. Beast is the Antichrist, I'm going to feel bad about this, but I think ultimately Mr. Beast, just based on where we are in social media, I don't even know where this thing stops for him. So I'm going to say Mr. Beast.
That is our 4 downs today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision LT.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toa. The next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. I had the 2200 vision, now 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
And right before trash, in that segment coming up in our final half hour, I'll ask the guys to pull out the dry erase board, and I would love you guys in the back room to do it as well, because they have started demolition of the Oak Mountain Amphitheater, the amphitheater that used to be close to our offices here. There's a new one on the north side of Birmingham that Live Nation has moved to. So they've started tearing down the old Oak Mountain Amphitheater. So I'm going to ask you guys later on, right before trash, your 5 favorite concerts that you ever saw at Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Tyler's only been to 2 because they didn't really target his age group there. So we will take your 2, Tyler. there, but we'll talk about it. Forrester says he has a list. You guys have been to many concerts there. We'll do that coming up for trash. You guys in the chat room have at it, because we know a lot of you in this area made it to the Oak Mountain Amphitheater over the years down in the Pelham area, and they've started to tear it down. There's demolition pictures from our friend Brittany Decker on NBC 13 WVTM here locally. That's off her Facebook page. The rubble as the stage and the concrete blocking has started to come down at Oak Mountain. No word yet from Pelham what they're going to do with that property right next to their ice rink and arena there, where the local hockey team and skaters go to. But sort of sad to see that moment leave, but apparently the new one downtown is going to be amazing as well. The one in Huntsville is tremendous. Love outdoor concerts, and we'll ask you your favorite concerts coming up a little bit later in the show. Money-wise, the Big Ten tax returns from 2024 are out. The Big Ten, as a conference, created $928 million in revenue during 2024, almost $1 billion in revenue by that conference. They paid their 12 longest running athletic departments a check of $63.7 million. $63.7 million. That number is expected for 16 of the 18 schools to go up to 73 to 75 million next year when they hand them the check.
Okay, so
per school.
Yeah. So Washington, there are two, like
Oregon and Washington.
Oregon and Washington are only getting a small share, or smaller share.
For 7 years.
Yeah.
The SEC was just behind that at $840 million in revenue created in 2024. Both of them are expected to create $1 billion in 2025. The SEC right at $1 billion,
incredible.
right at $1.2 billion for the Big Ten. A lot of that, of course, is TV contracts and TV partners and everything that goes with that. So those are the two premier conferences, and you always wonder, do they deserve the NCAA tournament bids? Do they deserve the college football playoff bids? They are the money people, and they are the engine that drives college athletics.
They are, and you do wonder, as we talk about expansion moving forward, where could the SEC go that would add to that billion? I mean, the conventional wisdom is the SEC will go to North Carolina and Virginia and get some combination of teams out of those two states to add more states to the SEC lineup there and make us have to redo our T-shirt. But, I mean, does that add that much to that billion? I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the Big Ten could go to add.
Look, I know it's inevitable that we're probably heading to this two-team Super League that everybody talks about, or two Super Leagues of what the Power Four eventually looks like. I just don't like it. I don't like 18, 20 teams in a conference. It's just too much.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't get to see. I like when you can almost go Big 12 where you're playing everybody. Old Pac-12 where you're playing everybody.
Yeah.
Get the round robin.
And by the way, with those numbers right there, you immediately say, okay, Notre Dame, how do they fit into this? They're making roughly that number. Now, last year that included some playoff money, which if you don't go to the playoffs and you're Notre Dame, you don't get that money. It's not some revenue share like the Big Ten and the SEC have where you can benefit from other success. But Notre Dame did go to the playoffs, and they advanced to the national championship game, and their TV cut, like I saw today, Notre Dame, I think their football program, was the 6th highest, I was reading earlier today, in revenue. So you always say, well, Notre Dame will one day, because of money, have to enter a conference. Well, those numbers, no, they don't.
Yeah,
now,
for instance, $63.7 million check. Notre Dame cut themselves a bigger check for football, for athletics than that.
Now, again, it required them to go to the national championship game to do that, Jim. Without that money, maybe they don't quite get to that number, but they're still willing to trade off taking a little bit less to keep their independence. I don't know that the number's ever going to get to the point where Notre Dame, financially, as many have thought, is forced to enter a conference.
When we come back, more college football, including some dark horse picks to be all-conference quarterbacks off LT's list at Next Round Live. And Tom Brady was on a popular podcast and named the players he was most scared to get hit by during his playing dates. Interesting list of players there. We'll get to that in the final hour of the show that is being brought to you by our friends at A+, Brownie.
That is the organization that redid the master bathroom in the Brown home. When we bought our house, we knew, hey, master bathroom, not our favorite. We can always redo it, though, right? And make it look like we want it to look. It was just, it was bright. We kind of wanted darker. It was a little bit outdated. Of course, we wanted it updated. So once we bought the house and got moved in, my wife, she scoured the internet for a little while. In fact, did a lot of work here and talked to certain contractors, people that had used certain contractors, read reviews. She selected Brad Bell. And I am so glad she did because his crews did tremendous work. They made our bathroom look the way we wanted it. It was to our vision, not some vision Brad came in and sold. He did it the way we wanted it done. Scott often shows you before and afters of my master bath, Lance's master bath, Lance's kitchen. So we've all used him. But you can see more at alabamabathremodels.com. That is alabamabathremodels.com. Brad Bell is his name. You can also give him a call, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, alabamabathremodels.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show. Always love your comments in the chat room. Brown will give us some of those coming up when we talk about greatest concerts in Oak Mountain Amphitheater history in about 30 minutes here on the show. Everybody's got an outdoor venue wherever you're watching us across America or the Southland today that you've gone outside to see a concert. I have my list written down, and there were 50 I could leave off. I can't tell you how many concerts I've gone to over there, but my favorite 5 moments, and these guys coming up a little bit later on this hour, LTD, and be with you, Tyler and Melton and Forrester behind the glass, EG and Taylor Korn, everything social media and on YouTube for you today at Next Round Live. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and on our Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Google Podcasts, hit the automatic downloads. That helps us out a lot. This hour brought to you always by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there. Those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I mean, Tyler tried to sell us on just bland, plain tamales the other day. Once you've had the spicy Mississippi Delta recipe tamale, you'll never want a different one. They've got them right there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. The chicken is to die for, but other stuff too. The po' boys, the hand-cut chicken fingers, which are perfect for your parties. Just get, plates and what do they call it? Big platter full of them. Take 2 of them to the office meeting. Great sides, great bar scene as well. It's all right there off of Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is Champy's Chicken right there. Yesterday we announced Todd Golden got a contract extension through 2031. That'll basically pay him $6 million a year. That would have put him 6th on the coaching salary list last year, by last year's salary, behind Bill Self, John Calipari, Dan Hurley, Tom Izzo, and Mick Cronin. Cronin's now at Villanova, right? Did he move, Mick, leave UCLA and go to Villanova?
No. Villanova was Kevin Willard from Maryland.
Right.
Now, Cronin's still at UCLA.
So he's still at UCLA.
Yeah.
So Golden would have slotted right behind him, just a few $100,000 ahead of Bruce Pearl, who is just under $6 million. So that's where Golden would slide in, basically what Bruce Pearl was making last year. Pearl, Barnes, Scott Drew, Lloyd at Arizona, and Nate Oats were your top 10. So Golden sliding right in the middle of that pack. Likelihood Bruce Pearl, before we go basketball tips off in November, gets another pay raise after going back to the Final Four to move ahead of Todd Golden.
Yes. And I think it's also a gauge on how long does Bruce want to be there. Like, you sit down, you negotiate, he signs. I don't know. I mean, is there any way Bruce would sign a 5-year deal right now?
He'd sign
one.
Is
Yeah.
Is there any way that he would live out a 5-year contract?
I don't know about living, but would he coach 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, he could coach 5 years. I don't think he would. I wonder. Let me ask you: if you're negotiating this contract, Brown, for Bruce Pearl, are you trying to get written in words on paper that Stephen Pearl is the next head coach?
So Jeremy on Twitter, a Auburn fan, says Pearl should get a lifetime contract with a clause that Stephen gets the job when he retires and name whatever he wants after him on campus. He says give him the whole smash.
Yeah.
Give him everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a I don't know about giving him everything he wants, but I would definitely give him a raise.
Would you give him a lifetime?
I have no problem with a lifetime contract. I don't know how that works, but yes.
I mean, it didn't work well for Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
Or Florida State. I mean, and we all love and respect Coach Bowden, but he was not at his best at the end, and it got ugly.
Yeah, but he didn't. He had Jimbo Fisher.
He did.
He didn't have Stephen Pearl, his son, waiting in the wings.
He did not, but it was almost an adopted son. I mean, Jimbo was very close to the Bowdens, and it was a lifetime contract. That was the part that got ugly, is the lifetime contract.
I would say this. At this point, I don't know how Auburn fans feel. Not only would I endorse Stephen Pearl doing that plan, I think it's the best move for Auburn, because I think Stephen does a lot of the recruiting, and he and that coaching staff do a lot of the coaching that I think helps Auburn succeed. I'd want to keep doing what I'm doing.
Jeremy finishes the tweet, by the way, saying, but what do I know? I was called an idiot for saying it was stupid to fire Gus, yet here we are 4 years later with 10 total Power 5 wins.
Yeah.
So,
well, that really is back to my point on saying Auburn's not elite right now. I mean, you can't view a program that has lost 7 games in 4 consecutive seasons as elite.
Yeah,
football,
it's tough.
yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it is 100% fair. I mean, if a lifetime contract is what Bruce Pearl wants, look, Auburn basketball has historically been either the worst or among the worst in the SEC. It's either them or Ole Miss in the history of the SEC. You have had more success in Bruce Pearl's tenure there than all the rest of Auburn basketball history combined. You combine all the rest of Auburn basketball history, and it doesn't even sniff what Pearl has done. So I think when you have a coach doing that, you marry him as long as he wants to stay married. I mean, even if it plays, even if it falls off a little at the end, you're so much better than you used to be. I think it's worth the risk of saying this guy can stay as long as he wants.
Cost of doing business, Final Four, Elite Eight, you almost have to keep bumping Nate Oats up every year, too.
Well,
I mean, you do.
He's about 10th.
Yeah.
Now, last time he chose to take NIL money over a raise.
Well, he had already gotten the raise,
Yeah.
and then the Kentucky job came open, and he was able to parlay that into NIL and staff and maybe some improved facilities, not necessarily Coleman Coliseum, but practice facilities. I would say personally, Lance, if I'm either one of these guys, and don't mishear what I'm saying, if I'm either one of these guys, taking a raise is really just an ego play at this point. Like, do you need another $200,000, $250,000? Like, if I'm either one of these guys,
well, what do you think their wife's going to say?
I would hope their wife would say, "My God, I never thought we'd be making this kind of money coaching." But I'm just saying.
Are you saying flip it back to NIL?
Yes, 100%. If I'm Bruce Pearl or Nate Oats, if Auburn or Alabama comes to me and says, "We'd like to give you $1 million raise," I look at it and I'm like, "Well, all right, million's a lot. Let's say a $250,000, $500,000 raise. Is that really going to change much for me?" And I know that sounds insane when you're talking about that level of money.
Well, we're getting to the point. I don't know if 250,000, 500 changes the NIL game.
You smell that?
Yeah, something's burning.
I'm afraid our Coke machine might, or the Bud Light kegerator. Something's about to blow.
You smell something burning down?
Oh, yeah.
I don't yet.
Something's about to blow.
Yeah.
Which would tell me it's on the Coca-Cola side.
I don't know. It looks fine right now. We don't have anything freezing or exploding.
I mean, something's definitely burning.
Yeah, but it could be elsewhere in this building.
Was anything adjusted with the cooler after yesterday or the other day?
Nope, nothing was
touched. They've been exploding this week, too.
Yeah, well, they've been freezing. I don't think we've had one explode, have we?
It smells like somebody's burned popcorn down the hall.
Yeah, I do smell something burning. I think it could be burned popcorn.
Yeah. Maybe.
All right, we're going to operate under the assumption that either the kegerator or the Coke machine is not on fire. So if we die, that was our assumption.
But sometimes mentally I start, you can create your own things happening. Is it getting hazy in here?
It is not getting hazy. There's no smoke coming from either one of the
Are you
Bud
sure?
Light. I'm certain. Do you see smoke coming from the Bud Light kegerator or the Coca-Cola?
There's no starting to get hazy here?
No, there is no haze.
The smell's getting stronger back here.
Yeah.
Somebody's burned popcorn, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So so you have the smell back there.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, then it's not.
It
It's
can't
not
be in
coming
here.
from in here
Yeah.
then.
All right.
It's got to be burnt popcorn.
Yeah, we're safe.
That smell carries.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can't get rid of that. That or when somebody microwaves fish in the break room. Woo.
Yeah.
Somebody did that down the hall the other day. They had did you smell that? I mean, it's been a couple weeks.
I smelled it.
Somebody reheated fish, and you could tell it the entire hallway.
Well, that used to happen all the time when we were up at Jocks. That break room.
Yeah.
And were we the next office to the break room or two offices down from the break room, just a short hall from where we were. And somebody would reheat fish from the night before or earlier in the week.
No, thank you.
No bueno, man.
Daniel says if we see white smoke, TNR has a new pope. So that could be it. That's good job, Scott. That's the way I would operate, Lance. Like I would say, is $250,000 to $500,000 important enough to me to have the ego trip of being a top 5 coach, or could I spend that in NIL money and become a better team? And I think the obvious answer in this world is $500,000 or $1 million could be better spent in NIL money to become a better team rather than me just be a top. What does it matter if I'm a top 5 paid coach?
So Bruce Pearl, back to the Final Four last year, the guy that won it all was 34th in the nation, 12th in the SEC in pay, Todd Golden. Now he's 6th in the nation before any more raises and is now number 2 in the SEC. That's Todd Golden's extension yesterday.
But if you're
on the
one
show.
of these coaches and you're like, damn, Jimbo Fisher's making more than me? I mean, coaches have egos.
Well, they do. That's what I'm saying. It's all ego at that point.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to watch. By the way, Purdue released their schedule. Officially now, Alabama's, we already knew this, November 13th, Alabama hosting Purdue. That Auburn return game to Indianapolis officially December 20th on the Purdue schedule. One interesting basketball note schedule-wise, Kentucky-Louisville, traditionally a big December game when I worked up there, and since they started renewing the rivalry, going to be really early in the season, November 11th now at Yum Center this year. So Kentucky-Louisville moving way up in the calendar there. So that's a little basketball news for you there. Let's do our Shunnarah Spotlight. Back to college football. We've got a cool throwback uniform that was announced earlier this week. That's going to be in our Spotlight. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
I love throwbacks. I've not seen this one. The Shunnarah Spotlight each day presented by our guy Alexander Shunnarah. I mention often he's recovered more than $2 billion. The lawyers there at Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys for their clients. They've done that by maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
Before you show us the throwback, Forrester, unless you're the Rams pairing it with a nice color blue, this is the superior gold to me that we're about to see. I lean more old school than, unless you're pairing it with another bright color. I like the Rams yellow with the Rams blue.
Yeah, like you like old school Pitt, right?
Old school Pitt.
Yeah,
It's better with that yellow.
I do like old school Pitt.
But if you're going West Virginia, they're bringing back from the 1960s these uniforms right here.
Well, it looks like Notre Dame.
It's got a lighter blue on the helmet, which makes me not good.
Yeah.
I don't like that
Wait,
lighter
who is
blue.
this?
This is West Virginia.
When you have to ask that question.
That's awful.
It looks like Notre Dame. Am I wrong? Other than the light blue on the helmet, obviously.
It's a different gold
Actually,
than Notre Dame.
Navy. It looks Navy. Not color Navy, the Naval Academy.
Yeah, it is a Navy color.
Yeah.
And but light blue apparently was part of their 1960s lore back there with the block WVU almost in Scrabble tile squares on the side. The helmet doesn't do it for me as far as the logos, but I do like the singular stripe down the middle, and that uniform is a classic uniform. I saw, by the way, speaking of uniforms, you have something on that?
Well, I was going to say the light blue was a big thing. Like Colorado had an old light blue uniform that you look at Colorado right now and there's no light blue anywhere around them, but they had a light blue uniform back in the day. So that must have been a big thing in the 60s and 70s.
Back before there was color television, the way the Raiders ended up with their colors, I saw this on Al Davis 30 for 30 the other night I was watching. The way the Raiders ended up with their colors was because when he would watch, he was a big fan of Army football. And when he would watch Army football on the television, it looked like instead of gold helmets, it looked like they had silver helmets and black numerals. So silver and black. So when he had a chance to impact the Oakland Raiders uniforms, Al Davis made them the silver and black and did very, very little variations of those uniforms.
I can't reel off my top 5 NFL uniforms off the top of my head, but that would be in it.
Yeah.
Do you guys like that uniform, the Raiders silver and black? I think that is such a classic
I know
look.
this is getting redundant, but I like their white jersey better.
You like the road?
Oh, I love their white with the silver pant.
And the silver helmet?
Yeah.
There are new alternate helmets this year for 5 NFL teams. The Commanders are going to do one. The Cleveland Browns are doing one. The Saints are doing one. The LA Chargers are doing one. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be doing one that a lot of people think it'll be the gold helmets they've used in their throwback. It'll be an alternate helmet. I think the alternate helmets sometimes are worn more frequently than the alternate uniform. But a second helmet is out there for those franchises. They tell me in this story about uniforms that I read that this is the first time since 2010 that we haven't had a major uniform change in the NFL. Not one franchise has a major uniform change for the first time since 2010.
Well, I mean, the teams that need it, Carolina and Jacksonville. Those are
Miami.
Well, back to the old school Miami.
Yeah. They tell me here, Brownie, in that article that Miami does not have an alternate helmet. So this alternate helmet and throwback helmets must be different things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I would guess so, because they definitely go back to the proper logo when they do the throwback uniform.
Yeah.
But they never wear that helmet with the current color scheme. Yeah. So I guess that's what they're saying.
They say Buffalo, Kansas City, the Raiders, the Rams, Miami, and San Francisco are the only franchises that do not have alternate helmets.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I guess they're just saying one's a throwback and one's not an alternate. They would never wear the proper logo with the terrible uniform.
All right.
And they shouldn't insult the logo that way anyway. So
uniform conversation there. For our spotlight today, brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah.
Yeah, Shunnarah.com. When you come in need of a attorney, the Alexander Shunnarah trial attorney is on your site, Shunnarah.com.
Continue the college football conversation with LT in just a second after he tells us about our buddy Dr. B. Tell us about Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, best in the business. If you're starting to thin out a little bit, you want to maintain, you want to grow some of that hair back. Doesn't matter if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. Call him and his great staff today. Tell him the next round sent you, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net for more information. Did that non-invasive treatment on the couch last night. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That's all I've done. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3's got that new test. So easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they're working. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working. Find out what will work when you go see Dr. B and the great staff. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Okay, I asked you earlier, can I get LT's list again at Next Round Live? Getting a lot of great feedback there, conversation, if you will, about LT's list of 1 through 16 SEC quarterbacks for 2025, his rankings there. I asked you earlier, guys, if you would think about maybe some dark horse guys to win the SEC all-conference quarterback at the end of the year, not preseason, end of the year, who could be maybe a dark horse candidate to be all-conference. And I'll ask you about the other conferences as best we can in a little bit as well. But, LT, if I said somewhere down the line, who's a dark horse that you think at the end of the year could be the SEC all-conference QB1?
I can't say Jackson Arnold based on the fact that I don't think Auburn would be good enough. I think it's going to be somebody that would compete to win the SEC. Is that fair?
Yeah.
My furthest back dark horse probably is Ty Simpson.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's rare you go into Alabama quarterback as a dark horse.
I know. But, I mean, you guys would give me, if the end of the year, if Ty Simpson is your first team all-SEC quarterback, Alabama's had a hell of a year. The offense has really bounced back, but it's not going to surprise me. Everyone you talk to close to that program, they're raving about the wide receiver room.
Absolutely. I think he is going to have a good set of wide receivers to throw to. I would agree 100% with that. Better than what Milroe had last year. Am I crazy to say Austin Simmons, Jim? I think you play in an offensive system we saw with Jackson Dart that could put numbers up.
Well, go back to Matt Corral under Lincoln. But both those guys are super efficient.
Yeah, the problem becomes how good is Ole Miss, Lance? And I guess if Austin Simmons plays that good, they could be in the playoffs. Yeah. It could be a 10-2 type team.
To your point, though, to be QB1 all-conference, chances are in the SEC you're going to be a playoff team.
You'd almost have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know how you wouldn't be.
So if you think Tennessee sneaks into the playoffs, Joey Aguilar. If you think Georgia sneaks in, Gunnar Stockton maybe. Ty Simpson's a good conversation. Austin Simmons a good conversation. Obviously, Arch Manning probably is going to be the odds-on favorite. If Texas is a playoff team and Arch Manning's the quarterback, he's probably going to be QB1, but he can't be a dark horse.
I will make the point that, and this is primarily a testament to the way most of the rest of the league was playing. There was a moment in maybe early November when we were talking about Diego Pavia being your first-team all-conference quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, he did not close that deal, but that was really
when they beat Alabama.
Well, as much as anything, that was a testament to the way the rest of the conference was playing. Nobody had separated themselves in the conference.
If I go Big Ten, obviously Aller is going to be there. Obviously, Sayin at Ohio State's going to be there.
I'm going to say Dante Moore, just based on the fact that This was a 5-star guy coming out.
And again, we're doing dark horses here. Don't take this wrong that he's saying Dante Moore is going to win BQB1 in the all-conference. We're saying dark horse to be all-conference.
Yeah. Based on the fact that this is his 3rd year of college football, he played behind, one of the more experienced quarterbacks we've ever seen in Dylan Gabriel, and you're playing in Will Stein's offense. Like, if you end up starting, I don't think you can have bad numbers in that offense. I really don't.
That's a great call.
How about Luke Altmaier at Illinois? If Illinois is what people think they are going to be, and some think they are going to be a playoff team, like Indiana was last year, could Luke Altmaier play that role?
Yeah, he could. I just picture them.
You think they'll run it more?
If they're going to get there, they're going to do it running, old Wisconsin-style football when he was good. If USC surprises, your boy there at USC could do it. And then there's Dylan Raiola at Nebraska. If Nebraska sniffs the playoffs or makes the playoffs, he's going to be a big part, and he's back there. ACC Klubnik's going to be the favorite.
Oh, yeah. Carson Beck's going to be right up there.
He's going to be in the conversation. Neither one of those could be dark horses.
Haynes King could be a dark horse. So Georgia Tech's getting a little bit better. They won 7 games last year. You saw what he was able to do against Georgia. Everybody was waiting for Haynes King to be the next quarterback Texas A&M to kind of blow up, and he never was that guy. But I think Haynes King, to me, would be that guy.
What he did in that Georgia game.
He was terrific.
Yeah, he was.
I just don't know that they're going to be a good enough team, but you're asking for a dark horse. Gio Gonzalez at North Carolina would be. He's got a skill set to do it.
Lopez or Gonzalez?
Lopez. I'm sorry, Gio Lopez. I don't know why I said Gio Gonzalez. Who is Gio Gonzalez?
I used to pitch.
Yeah, okay. My apologies to the Lopez family and North Carolina and Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, but Gio Lopez at North Carolina.
Former South Alabama.
What about Darian Mensah? You're paying him $4 million.
He better be good for that money.
Yeah, Appling's going to Syracuse, and they're putting together a pretty good roster there. So you got some options there. And then the Big 12 is wide open.
Everybody's a dark horse, and everybody's a favorite, right?
A lot of people will look.
Sam Leavitt.
They'll start with Leavitt at Arizona State as a favorite.
Rocco Beck, though, at Iowa State.
Who's the kid at Texas Tech? Because if they're going to be as good as everybody says.
They've got a redshirt freshman in there, Will Hammond.
It's the Morton kid who was really good last year.
I was saying, I think Will Hammond is going to contend, but it is it not Kyle Morton?
Barron
Morton?
Yeah.
But if you end up
weird spelling,
if Kansas State ends up winning,
but Jalen Daniels gonna be really good. Avery Johnson at Kansas State.
Avery Johnson's a guy that could be dark horse QB1. Yeah. Nobody will be talking about him because
Josh Hoover at TCU
does it with his legs.
Back at year 2.
We're to my point here. Sawyer Robertson. Everybody is a favorite and everybody's a dark horse.
Yeah, and Retzloff, Jake Retzloff, the kid at BYU who was really, really good last year, winning 11 games. That's probably, much like the Big 12, maybe the most difficult conference to figure out, not only dark horse, just who your first-team quarterback's going to be.
Back to the ACC, did either of you mention Jennings at SMU?
Nope.
That was a guy that played well enough for them to be in the playoffs last
Probably
year.
because we were saving it for the Big 12 conversation.
Well, you know what made me think of it? I was like, SMU's quarterback at the Big 12.
We keep doing that. Hey, by the way, Akron college football cannot play in the postseason this year because of back-to-back consecutive APR below the minimum threshold of the NCAA. It's been a long time since I've seen anyone penalized or recognized anybody penalized by this. Akron gets that tab bad in the classroom. Alabama's in the mix for Sincere Johnson, one of the nation's best linebackers recruiting. Alabama had a great recruiting class last year, but there were occasionally that it was just weird seeing the best of the best not have Alabama mentioned. That's changed this offseason, where you start seeing some of the elite players. They may not get any of them or all of them. They may only get some of them. But to see it down to 3 for Sincere Johnson, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and it's down to Penn State, Alabama, and Ohio State, that's the series of visits he'll end up taking. Top 3 linebacker, top 40 type player. And then this is what bothers me. I was talking to my buddies on the golf course about this yesterday. We were talking about we don't care how much money that these players make. That's a you problem, not a me problem.
You're talking about in college?
Yeah, in college, right. What we as fans have a problem with is the constant player movement, the transfers. And that's where a 1-year contract, a 2-year contract, a 3-year contract is going to help us as fans. Auburn safety Keontae Scott left in January. Now, he only had 113 tackles his entire time at Auburn, but he got on the field. He left in January and went to Houston. You know how many games he's going to play at Houston?
I'm guessing since you brought this up, the answer will be 0.
He's going to play 0 games at Houston because yesterday he hits the portal and he's going to Miami. So Keontae Scott, 113 tackles in his time at Auburn. He goes to Houston in January, and I can only assume he gets there and the money becomes more to go to Miami.
That is why when I mentioned this earlier that I was reading in an article about how well Miami has done in the portal, it was because of that move right there, Keontae Scott. Not necessarily that that's one of their big moves, but they were talking about almost nobody's been more active in the spring portal than Miami, and just their overall portal attack is probably second only to LSU, if it's second to anyone.
Well, and LSU took a Houston safety. Like, does Houston, you think of, what's the dude's name that's got the seafood restaurants? And
Furtada?
Yeah, Furtada. You would think that he's got the kind of money that he would just throw.
You would think.
Next segment, we talk music and then get to trash. Music is the things that connect all of us.
How many is it, by the way?
5. I want you 5. You don't have to do 5. 4. We'll just mention great concerts that you went to. I think it opened in the 80s.
Yeah, I've got dates. Am I going to blow you guys away?
Yeah, if you can do actual dates of an Oak Mountain concert.
I can give you period of time.
I can even give you a year.
Yeah, I've got a couple of mine are multiple.
I'm gonna go chronologically.
Okay.
So we'll talk music and pay tribute to the now demolished Oak Mountain Amphitheater in Pelham, just down the road from where we sit here in the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. Brought to you by our friends at Bud Light and our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you're running hot or cold, Hemp Hill keeps you at the right temperature.
205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Remember, 0% financing right now on HVAC units. $1,000 off the HVAC units. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. HempHillServices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
There's no off-season at CoverCrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at CoverCrimson.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, I don't know if you checked the forecast. In our area, it's going to be wet for the next 6-7 days most of the time.
I got to run get trashed.
No problem. That includes some wind and rain and thunderstorms that you get this time of year in the South. That means our buddy Greg from Pell City needs to be on your speed dial, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. You can look him up, Greg from Pell City, there on Facebook. That's his wife, Andrea, down in the corner with the chunky Jim Dunaway and Greg from Pell City. Both of us have lost weight and really shaped up a lot, both trying to impress her for different reasons. Me, because I just, she's a great sponsor. I want to be impressive to her. Him, because they're married, and she's way out of his league. But Greg will keep your roof in good shape, and he'll make sure that no shingles are missing, and you can go there and enjoy your home without any damage caused by wind or rain. Greg from Pell City, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He gives you a free no-cost roof inspection, full roof replacements, storm damage, roofing repairs. He's got a builder's license. He can do small projects there as well. And he'll take care of your roof forever. And he's great with insurance companies and insurance rules and regulations, and he'll help you the most he can there. He's locally owned for over 20 years. He's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. That's 205-542-3531 for Storm Restoration Roofing.
You think Lance lost trash?
I don't know. But trash isn't here yet. We're going to talk music here.
The printer's just right there.
Well, I know. He had it earlier. I think I saw him with it in his hands.
Yeah. I will tell you this. If he was here, he would say something nice about Matthew Stafford turning down more money to stay with the Rams. He was offered $100 million to go to the Giants or the Raiders. He stayed with the Rams for $84 million. So he basically left $16 million on the table to stay with the Rams.
I'm glad he did that. For him, I mean, that's a better spot, right? Stafford to the Giants, does that make them any sort of contender? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Stafford to the Raiders, a little bit closer, but I don't think so. So he stayed, and obviously they knew that based on their offer. He stayed in the place that would make him easiest to win a championship.
Yep. So that gets us to our music conversation before we get to trash. Forster, if we can get the pictures again from Britt Decker, Facebook. She is a wonderful anchor at WVTM, Channel 13, the NBC affiliate in Birmingham, Alabama. And these pictures from her Facebook page of the demolition going on over at the Pelham Amphitheater, in rubble there now as they continue to tear it down. And they're going to replace that with some new project as Birmingham, the metro area, got a new amphitheater that opens this month up in north of Birmingham. So I asked the guys, and we'll bring in the guys from behind the glass too, your 5 favorite concerts in Oak Mountain Amphitheater history, which dates back to the 1980s. LT was going to do it in chronological order. So what do you have for us?
So I'm kind of like you. I've probably been to, 40, 50 shows out there. The best performances I've ever seen have never been at the amphitheater. Like, whether it was Boutwell Auditorium or, a stadium tour. But these were just memorable for me.
Well, I mean, to me, too. I mean, mine are not going to be the best artists I ever saw there. It's just going to be the greatest nights I had there.
Okay, so we're going to start May 17th, 1989, Vixen opening for Bad Company.
Where'd you get these dates?
Yeah, how do you know these dates? May 17th, 1989?
In my head.
I mean, why is a date of a concert burned in your head?
I'm just kidding. You can find the entire.
Oh, you Googled these?
Yeah. I mean, you can find when the concert was played.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just giving you guys
So
a
you
little
saw
reference.
Vixen.
Is that okay?
No, Lance, it's fine. Don't get our butt hurt.
He probably used BHAM Wiki too, which is where I got mine.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, there you go.
Who was better, Vixen or Bad Company?
Oh, Bad Company, not even close. Bad Company, one of the more underrated rock bands in history, by the way.
One of the people that writes a song with their name in it before, right?
Right.
Bad Company.
That's a good tune, too.
Yeah.
Number 4, June 12th, 1993, Foreigner. One of my guilty pleasures was Foreigner.
Best song they did that night.
Do you like Cold as Ice or not?
Cold as Ice is okay. Head Games is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Want to know what love is? It's just fantastic.
That's a good one.
The one thing I like about that song is the way the choir is in it at the end. They didn't have a choir with them, did they? How did they manufacture?
Oh, I don't even remember. Maybe it was on the the screen behind them.
maybe
They had.
so.
I cannot believe you've got a country act.
I know. That was going to be my biggest upset. August 25th, 1994. I remember before this concert, I almost got in a fight because Brooks and Dunn, by the way. We were at the Jim and Nick's over by the amphitheater, the one by the Galleria, and we had obviously been drinking, and I was in the parking lot, and I was taking a leak, and this guy comes flying out of Jim and Nick's. I just bought that truck. You pissing behind my truck.
What's he care if you're pissing behind it if he just bought it?
I mean, it blew. It got really.
You like Boot Scootin' Boogie?
Almost a bad situation.
Neon Moon's a great Brooks and Dunn song. Brooks and Dunn's fantastic.
Yeah, That Ain't No Way to Go is probably my favorite.
That ain't no way to go.
Neon Moon's really good, especially when you hear the story behind the way they wrote it.
Number 2 on the list, August 29, 2001, 7 Mary 3 Train and Matchbox 20.
Oh, yeah.
See Matchbox 20 out there, I think, 3 times.
Hey, that's there's going to be a crossover on that.
And number 1, August 10th, 2018, Stone Temple Pilots, Bush, and the Colt.
Yep. That's a good list. I was at...
Were you at any of those?
I think I was at...
You were at the Brooks and Dunn, weren't you?
I don't think I was.
I've never seen Brooks and Dunn. I bet they're good live, though.
They were really good.
They used to be. I don't think they are anymore.
I think I was...
I actually had boots on, by the way.
Oh, taking a piss in the parking lot.
I may
on
have
a
been...
dude's truck.
I think I was at 7 Mary 3. 7 Mary 3 in Matchbox 20. I almost had Matchbox 20 in mind.
I
wasn't there the night you guys went.
Yeah, I went with... Do you have the one that you and I went to?
Yeah. I was with Lance and his family. All right, number 5 on my list is John Mayer. That's the one where I fell asleep during the concert. But...
I understand you falling asleep in a theater sometimes, especially when you're going to see like a kid's movie.
Yeah.
But how do you fall asleep at a concert?
I was just sitting there. It was such a nice night out under the stars at Oak Mountain Amphitheater. And John Mayer can play some pretty mellow music. And he was in one of those long guitar riffs. And I just sat there and was taking it all in and fell asleep. I mean, it was just fantastic.
Normally, people that are unconscious or out would be either highly intoxicated or dead at a concert, right? Nobody sleeps at a concert.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of someone doing that.
Oh, yeah. I fell right asleep. I mean, it was just a nice night. I mean, I was just so at peace and just.
Were you on the blanket?
Chilling.
This was with the long.
No. I was sitting in a chair. Yeah,
Okay.
I was sitting. I was sitting. Everybody else was standing, and I was on the aisle, and I just sat there and threw my legs out. And
did anybody wake you up?
Jennifer did. Yeah. Number 4 was Matchbox 20. Now that
I don't think we give Maggie a lot of credit on the show. I don't think we give Jennifer enough credit for
what?
For sticking around with
Do
you.
you think I'm that difficult
without looking? I can give you that date though.
Okay.
Forrester, you can fact check me. August 2nd of 2013. And we went to Bellini's before, and I'll never forget this. We were driving over, and it was me and Bethany, ex-wife, in the back seat, Jen and Brown driving in the front seat, and Wallflower's One Headlight came on. And Brown's like, I don't know why it's saying one headlight. I know both are working. I was like, that's the song.
It was. I wasn't listening to the song, and it was on the readout on the dashboard. No, can I please just ask? It was on the readout, like in the.
I know.
Where the speedometer.
I'm just saying, I remember little things about that night.
What do you think is the most difficult thing about living with me?
First of all, sleeping at a concert when you're with her. I mean, you should be having the time of your life at that point.
I enjoy sleeping.
Yeah.
I got to see Jen Brown. She showed up at Trample.
Yeah,
the
she
other
was
day.
at Trample by Tacos. I'm more self-aware than I get credit for on this show. So I am self-aware of my shortcomings. I really am. I don't think I'm all that difficult to live with, though. I don't like it when you make that face. No, I know what that face means.
I don't live with you.
But I know what that face is saying right there when you make that face.
I only spend 3 or 4 hours a day with you.
I know, and it's more than you want. I get it. James Taylor, I've seen him multiple times at Oak Mountain Amphitheater with Jennifer, and that was back during the lawn days when you could throw the blanket out and just lay under the stars.
Yeah, I saw him one time out there.
Fantastic concert of that. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He was spectacular. I think he was stoned out of his gourd, almost fell off the stage a couple times.
You probably thought you were when you were asleep.
I didn't sleep through his. And the Black Crowes, me and my oldest daughter, Anna Kate, went to see the Black Crowes Shake Your Moneymaker tour. Their most recent one, not the original one.
I was about to say.
Yeah, no, she was not born then. They were, and they did Shake Your Moneymaker in order and then did their hits after that. Fantastic concert with the Black Crowes.
Black Crowes and Black Jacket Symphony. Just say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do it that way. That worked out good. For my list, before we go back, Journey for me, I saw multiple times, never with the original cast, though. How many times they played the amphitheater with the guy they got off of YouTube?
It seemed like it was every year. It seemed like, yeah.
Fantastic. Always a great time. Dave Matthews Band, Maggie and I were broke up for about 5 days. That was her favorite band. And I had, I think it was row 2 dead center seats. And I ended up taking somebody else because we were broke up for 5 days. We got back together midweek, but I did not take her to the concert.
That's how I got
another girl, though?
No, I was a different guy. But
okay.
That's how I got Olympics tickets. A buddy of mine was dating a girl, and he broke up with her, so I got her ticket. And they ended up getting married.
Motley Crue multiple times out there.
Yeah, I've seen Motley Crue out there.
Fantastic. Jimmy Buffett used to come. God rest his soul.
I hate to admit it. I saw Jimmy Buffett out there.
I would go almost every time he came to the amphitheater. It was always a great time there. And then Hootie and the Blowfish played there. I can't remember if I saw him at City Stages and then Amphitheater or Amphitheater and then City Stages, but they played there right when they were big.
Boy, you have been highly critical of them,
Yeah.
so it's interesting. So you saw them after Crack Rearview Mirror.
How have I been highly critical of them?
It is literally a phrase you use. They're fair weather Johnson.
I know you dog him out for doing things multiple times, but you probably said it
you
all the
say
time.
that all the time. This can't be their fair weather Johnson.
Yeah.
You have used that reference for 15 years.
Well, it's the reference I use when somebody can't back up a good season.
I would say that's being highly critical of Hootie and the
But
Blowfish.
that is very
Lenore
subjective
Sellers.
that was a good season.
No, their first album was
Crack
unbelievable.
Rearview Mirror was fantastic.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's garbage? No,
in
that's
my opinion. I mean, look, we're all different musical
Let Her
tastes.
Cry?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let Her Cry, LT. That's a one. You only saw 2. What 2 did you see, Tyler?
So the first one I saw at Oak Mountain was the first concert I ever went to. It was, I want to say, 2014. It was Motley Crue and Alice Cooper on the farewell tour.
We were there together. How about that? Paths
yeah.
cross. Cross streams. Go ahead.
I mean, how old were you in 2014?
I was 14 or 15 at the time.
I thought you were going to say 8 or 9. I probably looked at my buddies and like, how do those parents bring that 8-year-old to this Motley Crue concert? But you were 14.
Yep, we had we found a coupon online, and the ticket was like $15.
Was that the old Groupon things?
Yes.
Was that the one where the drum set did a circle? I
can't remember if they had that or not.
Yeah, one of them, Tommy Lee's drum set was like on a roller coaster track, and he would go upside down while he was drumming.
And then the second concert I went to at Oak Mountain was a couple months after that. Blink-182 played there, but it was not the original lineup. It was Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio singing because Tom DeLonge was still out looking for aliens. He found them, and now he's back in the band.
Okay, well, glad he found them.
Forrester, what about you, man?
Okay, so second show I ever saw, first show I ever saw was actually our buddy's brother Kane opening up for Van Halen.
Oh, how about that?
Wow.
That was not
Good
at
show.
Oak Mountain. That was at BJCC. But the second show I ever saw, Dave Matthews Band and Ben Harper. I love Ben Harper still to this day. Great show. Then 311 and Fishbone.
What year was Dave Matthews?
That was September 9th, 1996.
Okay, that's the concert then.
Dave Matthews Band.
What is it? The concert?
The one that's on my list.
Oh, that same one.
Yeah, did you see a sad Dunaway on row 2?
Yeah, very
I
happy
don't recall
Dunaway.
seeing,
A whole
sad
row of
Dunaway.
girls right behind me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? You're back with Maggie 2 days
2
later?
days
No, I was
later.
already with Maggie, back with Maggie. Or it would have worked out fine. Thank you very much.
Wait, how were you already back with her if you didn't take her to the concert?
Because I'd already asked Store to go. I wasn't going to,
So you got back together with Maggie, but you were like, but I did.
And it was
ask
her
Kevin's
favorite
story.
band?
Oh, yeah, I proved a point.
Yeah.
Come on. Coaching moment.
And you say Brown stuff to live with.
Coaching moment. I know it's well documented on this show, usually by you, Lance, that Maggie has to put up with a lot.
Well, I just know you guys spend so much time together.
Yeah.
So did she become a pastor before or after she married you?
Oh, that's very recent.
Yeah, that's why recent. Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say she needs that patience.
Yeah, she became really. She decided to go to Duke after we started this platform.
Oh.
Yeah. She's like, we're going to need some intervention if you and LT and Brownie are going to own something together. Yeah. Forster?
We're done?
No, so then I'll go with one of the two shows that Tim McGraw that I saw with my wife out there. Not the biggest Tim McGraw fan, but she is. And
I remember you telling me that you would go see him. There were a couple artists you would go see, even though you hate them, just because Debbie loves them.
I wouldn't go all the way to hate, but not my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I saw Tim McGraw solo twice and Tim and Faith once with her.
Wow.
And Faith.
So do you guys remember this concert? It was in 1998. It was at Legion Field, and Tim and Faith. It was a big country lineup. I actually was there. It was a Sunday afternoon.
Like a festival type?
Yeah, but I remember Tim and Faith. I think they were the headliners. I thought they put on a pretty good show.
I remember him doing. He did a Space Cowboy in Steve Miller Band, and it blew my wife's mind that I was singing along to it because she thought it was his.
You secretly like country music, by the way.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I have been to June Jam a bunch.
See?
But it's funny that you bring up Steve Miller because I think there's people listening right now that will remember this, and I think it was in June or July of 1990. But I was supposed to go to Steve Miller, but it was raining. I was like, we're not going to go. And I think 3 or 4 different people got struck by lightning at the amphitheater that night.
Wow.
Glad you didn't go.
Yeah, that's probably not on their wall of fame as they tear it down.
Let's talk about that day again.
And then the best show I've ever seen anywhere. You guys remember what you were doing on Saturday, October the 13th, 2001?
Watching a football game, but I don't know who.
Yep, I bet I know who you were watching.
Who?
Oh, that was post 9/11. Really close.
Who was I watching, Scott?
You were probably watching the Auburn Tigers taking on number 1 Florida.
Oh, yeah. You were not there.
Auburn won that game on a Damon Duval field goal with 17 seconds.
Remember it well. Yeah.
What an
I were
ugly
together,
looking
right?
kick.
No,
that
we
was
were a couple years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it poured. It absolutely
I remember that well.
poured that night.
But you were at the amphitheater, not at the game?
I was an Auburn student at the time. I opted not to go to that game. Instead, I went to see Tool at the Oak Mountain Amphitheater in a freaking monsoon, and it was incredible.
Wow. Tool instead of an Auburn
were you a
upset.
pessimist saying that Auburn had no shot against number 1
I
Florida?
just wanted to see Tool.
Okay. Well, I mean,
You know what reminds me of Tool? I think it was Reed's bachelor party. Is that the band at Rockstar?
yeah. Well, he did everything without us.
Yeah, at Las Vegas.
Like he went.
You saw him at the airport.
I set up a
both
lot of the
times?
stuff, and so dinner first night he showed up there, and then we never saw him again. And I'm not exaggerating.
And in the process went to see Tool by himself. That's my memory of Tool.
In Las Vegas.
Now I replace that with this Forrester's favorite band experience of all time, Tool at the amphitheater. That gets us to trash today. Before that, this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Thank you, Oak Mountain Amphitheater, for years and years and years, and hopefully the new amphitheater brings many people as much joy as Oak Mountain brought us since the 1980s. Champy's brings you joy every day for lunch and dinner. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Tyler, hit the button, man.
Congratulations, The Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019.
Perfect.
Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light.
55-year-old Akron woman arrested May 5th, charged with multiple drug offenses after a raccoon was discovered in her vehicle holding a meth pipe in its mouth.
Oh, it's the raccoon, not the woman.
Now, officers initially conducted a traffic stop about 7:15 p.m. after identifying a vehicle whose owner had both an active warrant and a suspended driver's license. Now, after officers detained the driver, police then discovered a raccoon named Chewy sitting in the driver's front seat with a meth pipe in its mouth. Now, we've got to have a photo of this. Yep, there he is.
I mean, again, if I'm the woman, I'm like, he brought the meth pipe. He's the one smoking it. Why are you arresting me?
Probably the cleanest thing the raccoon's put in its mouth.
Probably so.
Now, officers further inspected the vehicle after the discovery, ended up finding a, quote, bulk amount of meth, crack cocaine, and 3 used glass meth pipes.
Obviously, he's dealing. He's got a mask on.
It's actually really good, Jeff.
I mean, she doesn't look like a meth smoker. I mean, whatever a meth smoker looks like. I mean,
not smiling.
She's got her teeth covered.
That's right, shining her teeth.
More disheveled librarian.
Maybe, librarian after the kids have just been complete terrors.
It seems like she must have looked rough.
No, they did.
She may be she may be paying the bills at some church, somewhere. She'd be working in the office,
Tyler,
She
I
has
said this
that
before.
look.
I never had a good looking teacher in my life.
I did.
Never.
You did?
Until my final class at the University of Alabama. That was it.
I had a good looking student teacher. Like, did y'all get student teachers?
Yeah.
They were probably.
And when you were a junior or senior, they weren't that much older than you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, they were always spot on, the student teachers.
We see this all the time. In a string of incidents that sounds more like sitcom than real life, Washington State troopers recently pulled over not one, but 2 drivers for trying to sneak into the carpool lane using mannequins dressed up as human passengers.
Larry David is the one that created this, right?
I mean, it
was a sex doll, wasn't it?
Yeah, more into the mainstream with him.
Yeah.
So under Washington law, improperly using the HOV lane will cost drivers $186. But if you go the extra mile and use a fake person to fool the system, you're hit with an additional $200 fine. So they got popped for $386 for trying to be clever with the mannequin.
Brown on the picture on the left there, asleep in the passenger
It's been a
seat.
long day at the workplace there, Jimmy. Hey, do you find it curious? Like, I especially see this going to Nashville when you get to the part near Franklin where the HOV lane starts. And there are a lot of people that are in like heavy traffic with multiple people in their car, and they don't just dive over there.
Don't get it.
And I mean, it is zooming, and I'm
we
flying
could go
by
to,
people.
We could go today, and Nashville's become one of these places. It's always got traffic.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what
traffic's
time
bad,
it is. So I was leaving about a week ago today, and couldn't wait to get to the carpool lane.
Yeah, and by the way, there's certain times of day that it's not the HOV lane. It's just a normal lane, and people don't jump in there.
Yeah, I'm always puzzled as to why people aren't in there.
Read the signs, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, this next story is pretty incredible. South Carolina man thought it would be a good idea to, quote, prank his ex-girlfriend by allegedly sneaking into her house, hiding with a knife in her bathroom shower, where he lurked and waited for her to come home.
With who?
Without wearing pants or underwear, his face was concealed by a pair of biker shorts in an attempt to surprise the woman and, quote, lighten the mood after a text message spat.
Uh-oh. Guess what she thought that text message spat was? The old breakup.
You're going to love my 6th-ranked quarterback, Jackson Arnold, right here, 25 years old. That is his real name, was arrested, booked Sunday on charges of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, first-degree burglary, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime.
Wait a minute. That took a weird turn.
Oh,
I thought this was going to be just a funny surprise.
Now, he allegedly hid in the victim's shower with a pair of biker shorts concealing his face until she returned to the residence, according to an arrest report. He was allegedly in possession of a knife. Unclear what kind. Police say Arnold exited the shower after his ex-girlfriend arrived back home, allegedly set upon her using the knife to imitate stabbing and slicing moves on her throat.
Just kidding.
Let's not forget that his face was covered.
That's right.
He allegedly then held the knife up towards the side of her head at one point, causing the victim to push Arnold away. Knife did not make contact with her skin during the alleged incident. Police say the encounter, Arnold tossed the knife on the floor, started choking his ex with his left hand, causing her to stop breathing.
Yeah.
Quote, the victim was able to remove the shorts from the unknown male's face. It's at that time she realized it was her ex-boyfriend. Arnold allegedly told the woman he was pranking her and that he wanted to talk. She eventually ran to the main house, asked the family there to call 911. He was arrested, and now he is sitting in county jail.
It does sound very much after the fact that he decided I'm only pranking. He did everything like it was a real attack.
No, it was just a joke, I swear.
The only thing that could be even close to the prank would be the fact that he was there with no pants on.
Yeah, that just says you're crazy.
Yeah, but if you're going to sexually assault someone and force her to do things, you'd have no pants on.
That
at
is
some
also
point.
true.
If I'm her attorney, that's what I'm saying.
And by the way, choking to where I can't breathe, that's not a joke.
No.
Yeah, and look, this is completely one side of the story because it's his ex. They were in a text spat.
Yep.
So I'd love to read those texts and see what direction
So
this thing
my
went.
guess when he started this story was, and this would be a much funnier conclusion than what we actually got, is he's hiding in the shower as means of a joke. She comes back home, but she ain't by herself.
Yeah.
And that's how he finds out.
Oh, I don't know. I think if we would have had a third, I think he gets his ass whipped.
Oh, probably.
Pretty bad,
Which probably a better outcome to this story, honestly.
So it's finally settled. 100 men versus gorilla. We've got experts that have weighed in here.
I think the winner is me. It's the gorilla, right?
Who would win in a fight between 100 men and a gorilla? Now, the internet has been taking bets, debating all week, but now an expert is weighing in. Hypothetical, first posted on X, spawned into a full-blown discussion. Some have taken the time to carefully consider the question, provide a thoughtful response, while others have had more fun reacting to the random train of thought and the memes inspired by the hypothetical. Now, they have brought in Tara Stanitsky. She's president and chief scientific officer of the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund. This makes her the utmost.
No. She's going to go gorilla. She's in the Gorilla Fund. She's not objective.
Just wait.
Okay. Well, let me hear what
Interview
she says.
USA Today on April 30th. She goes on to say, quote, numbers really favor the people.
See, Jim?
She goes
the lady
on to
that's
say,
in the Gorilla Fund says it's the people.
It is the people. If you get the right people.
Well, look, I mean, just look at this photo, which Tyler has sourced from the last fight of 100 men versus a gorilla. This is an actual photo.
Yeah.
That's only 9 men. And look how the gorilla is already getting overwhelmed by just 9 men. There's 91 others waiting to join the fight, Jim.
Yeah, but apparently we did this fight before the 1960s because it's not a very diverse group we're sending out. I think some of the world's best athletes are not represented.
I would agree 100% with you on that.
Later, if we're fighting now, there would be the Jersey 42 would be retired, and we'd have a more diverse group attacking.
I don't know if you necessarily want the greatest athletes. You just need the greatest fighters out there.
I think those that have been left out are like, hey, actually, this is one place where we'll say no diversity. You white guys go fight this thing.
Yeah, I would say
Chat GPT.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali could fight. Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we're going boxers again, fighters.
Yeah. We've got 100 white guys here against the gorilla.
She went on to say, I think in terms of being able to prolong a battle that could eventually wear a gorilla out and our ability to really cooperate and coordinate, I think those two elements kind of work against a gorilla's favor.
She's right.
Now, she said, I've studied gorillas for over 20 years. She said, while the primates are very strong, their size and strength have been a little overestimated over the course of the debate.
Much like this picture.
She goes on to say, I've seen in some places, they're 25 times stronger than a human.
No.
I've just seen these numbers, and I don't know if they're based on reality, so I do wonder a little bit if there's some over-exaggeration of the size and strength of the gorillas.
Yeah, I like what this lady says.
Yeah.
I think we could trust her. She's studied them.
Yeah, as you say that after initially, if she was going to go gorilla, she was.
Well, she's with the gorilla.
Brown, that
fund.
was the best one ever. It hit, it popped up, and covered the whole thing for like a couple of minutes.
Just like hung in the air
for a couple of minutes.
No, that might be an overstatement.
That is trash
pull
today.
the tape, Dunaway.
That is trash brought to you by friends at Bud Light. Still been a couple of minutes since that conversation. It's not hanging there anymore. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And that's our show today. We appreciate you guys being with us. And don't forget, later today, a new Meltdown comes your way at 2 o'clock. It is live on our platform, but you can get it anytime you want. Just like yesterday's Pin at Grace, you can go back and watch it. Baseball continues tonight with some more huge games, including the Padres and Yankees, 2 playoff teams, battling up at Yankee Stadium. Max Fried on the hill. He's 6-0. after leaving the Braves. Basketball tonight, Knicks in Boston. Porzingis is probable despite his mystery illness that is back. Knicks lead that series 1-0. Denver and Oklahoma City tonight with Denver up 1-0 as well. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.